Welcome to Game Changer Weekly. John, how are you doing on this Tuesday evening?
Dude, I'm jamming. I feel great tonight. How about yourself so far?
I saw you rocking out to the new intro video again. It was nice to see you having fun with it and got the karate kicks going and punches. You're all set for TOS. You're ready for TOS 10 next year already.
Yeah, I did all that shit, man. Yeah, okay. Not gonna lie, when you get such a cool intro, like it's kind of cool to watch here and there over and over. I've seen it now quite a few times. My friends are like, "Oh, that's so awesome." So, yeah, just trying to have some fun, loosen up, wake up a little bit. I like to always try to rest a little bit before we do these so that I'm alive because we go into the night with these. So,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Where do you want to? Oh, here we go already. The real tight spot said, "Good evening, fellas. Good evening to you,
What's
sir."
up, man? How you doing? Yeah,
So
we have a lot to talk about tonight. That is for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, dude. I didn't even write down any news. I just put down right into the reviews. I don't know if there was anything you really wanted to talk about, or before we go straight into these reviews, because we've got some thick things to talk about tonight.
Yeah, I don't think I don't have anything beforehand. Other than I see they're starting to announce some matches for Colorado, for Phoenix, and for LA, which is cool. It's nice to see them finally starting to do that because I was getting kind of worried. They're like, I'm not going to any of those shows. I'm going to Disneyland instead. But um, I'm still keeping an eye on those shows, and like I was getting kind of worried. They only announced like two shows each go or two matches each for each show going into today. So seeing some more matches announced was nice, and those are going to be some very fun and fire cards again. It looks like.
Yeah, those things are filling out really nicely. Again, it kind of hurts the way it's all set up because I would have loved to have done the triangle of Vegas to LA to Phoenix again, but Wallet doesn't agree with me right now. So I'm going to have to wait on that one for a while. It's more like pick one here, pick one there for now until my millions roll in and I'll be able to travel with the circus. But until then, it's just going to be one show here or there.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, my wife's telling me to still go to the other shows because we're going to Disneyland like Wednesday, so I still couldn't go to Phoenix and LA if I wanted to. But I'm like, I think Disneyland's going to kind of kill us there for a little bit. So, unless
Oh,
something
yeah.
miraculously happens or I get a special invite down there and head down there, I'll just be enjoying these ones from home and enjoy Disneyland on the beforehand.
And also, a great one finally came in the room. Here we go. Mance Warner has his first two title defenses set. Yeah, we're definitely going to be talking a lot about that one tonight. And I'm really happy we have those first two defenses set because I think those are two really good choices as title defenses here. He's not going somewhere and then just fighting like the small guy on the indie scene. We have real wrestlers here going at it who can be real threats to the title.
Yeah,
So
already
we'll
a big change of pace from the Blake title defense there with the first two title defenses set. I'm very interested to see what happens, but yeah, we will be talking a lot more about all that stuff later.
All right, let's rock and roll, brother.
All right, so before we head into TOS, let's play the quick little intro video from GCW's YouTube to get us even more hyped for TOS 9.
I spent so much time focused on the difference. Eclipsed by the shadows of my past. Nothing will sustain. Nothing is bound to last. There's a hole in the dark where the waters rest. No ways in a grave. I kept as a box from below, still stuck inside the soul. My mouth is a train where no water flows. A giant infatuation, nothing more. I need lightning to strike in the same place. I cast out a breath for weeks. And it's I to remove this voice. trying to get out until I want ourselves.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm about to say, wow, they did a great job of sorry, playing in my background here. Did a great job of capturing all the crazy violence that we saw that weekend. That video was a really good recap of everything that happened. And
Also, we just got raided.
as we were playing that, thank you, Effie, for the raid on Twitch. Kev Bootleg, Awkward Gamer, welcome everyone from Effie's Twitch. I hope you guys had fun watching. Did he come up with a name for Tuesday? I forgot what it was.
Okay, so for right now, it's See You Next Tuesday. And
That's what I thought.
that's like been the moving name for right now until he settles on one. Maybe he settled on that one. If it is, it's newer news to me. But yeah, he just got off of his broadcast at his new place. He didn't even know a couple hours before his show was going to take off if he was even going to be broadcasting that night. So we're all fortunate here that we got a big dose of Effie tonight.
Yes, awesome and perfect timing as we're just hopping into our review for GCW's Tournament of Survival 9 from the terminal at the Showboat in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
All right, so this is the kickoff. Here we go. This is the kickoff, the GCW Survival Weekend. The show opens with a touching tribute to GCW fan family member Clem. It was a really special moment for his family and friends and a very touching send-off. Just for the last time on behalf of Game Changer Weekly, RIP Clem. So
Yeah,
then
awesome
on to our
seeing,
show here.
Sorry,
I
think
didn't.
we're on the delay again.
Oh no.
I just want to hop in and say, yeah, it was a very cool little tribute that they did at the beginning. The fans, MLJ, getting emotional I think that's what kind of got me, because he usually, no matter all these times he's had announced the wrestling deaths, that one kind of hit him a little bit hard, and that seeing him get hard hit a little bit harder for me. So yeah, send our condolences definitely on behalf of Game Changer Weekly.
Dude, it was just terrible. I was in a room with a bunch of his friends when the news hit, and it was just awful. So I was just happy that it felt like the family was there at the show. They got a little closure. I know his mom was there and whatnot. So it was nice that his mom got to see the amount of love and respect and how many people his life had moved, all in one room at one time. So love you, buddy. So on to our show then. The terminal looks full. It's a sea of people. Light tubes are suspended in the air by barbed wire, weapons covering the ring. There are banners on the walls, which helps mute that bright white color. The background on hard cam has black curtains with banners. There are two big TVs that are hung above the entrance that are lighting. It's just a huge improvement. That's maybe the best way to put it there. Emil stands beside the Tournament of Survival 9 trophy. It's bigger than him, and I can tell you, Emil is tall. He's easily 6 foot, isn't he?
Oh,
Off
yeah.
the top of my head? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking. Hard cam is perfect. Ring cams were on point all weekend. Whoever produced it did a great job. All the hype videos delivered, especially that opening video and the multi-part series on the Effie versus Mance saga. Everyone had the chance to catch up to speed with the story, especially on a very big weekend where there's more new viewers than usual. They also entertained us between matches with videos, and that was highly appreciated, honestly. I heard Build and Teardown was also done quickly and efficiently. The GCW crew is, of course, known for that. Matt Barroso was on Twitter, on X, and he cited that he'd like to thank Chad, Leanne, Kurt, Lance, Jumbo, Ryan, the other Chad, Scott, Terrence, Poo Poo, Jay, Pat, John, JB, and Dana. I also want to say on behalf of Game Changer Weekly, thank you so much for doing such a great job and moving the show along at a very good pace. I also saw a lot of the Skittle Squad members out there in the front row amongst all the people there. Hello to all of you. You all know who you are. I wanted to mention also every match in this show was fresh. To me, I didn't feel like there was any repetition. It looks like you're kind of on board with the same thing too, right?
Oh yeah, especially after you know, seeing a lot of death matches, sometimes it does start to feel repetitive, and that's kind of always one of my fears going into a TOS and not knowing a lot of the competitors this year as normal. That was definitely one of my fears. But after like match 3, I felt the same way. I was like, nothing has like no spots have like reoccurred. Everything's felt smoothly. Doesn't feel like, oh, that's like the 3rd or 4th time I've seen that. You can't do that again. Like it was like perfectly, and to me, surprisingly, an effective and quality deathmatch tournament. I definitely eat all my words questioning it going in, and I left it with a lot of remorse in my voice today, hopefully.
Wow. Let's see who else in chat here. Wrestle Dads, welcome in, dude. He and I have been talking. He's been waiting a good chunk of this day to actually sit down and see how we cover this show tonight. Kev, love you as always, dude. Yeah, he said I was in that blue LA front row crew. Dude, that was rowdy. Oh yeah, there was I saw a part where Cardona was walking around the ring and he was like looking at someone for the vape. He fucking blew a big old cloud in Cardona's face. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. So I was thinking we'd have the 9 participants with TOS 9, maybe just one match being a triple threat, only because, you know, 9. But
didn't even think about that.
Just something dumb, you know what I mean? So Cardona was also on X mentioning GCW now does pre-tapes. I also feel that's another step in the right direction. What do you think?
Yeah, we've talked about that. Just even wrestlers hopping on their phone at a Target, like when Speedball and Leo Rush was doing their little things. They would just hop on their phone, cut a quick 1-minute promo, and then that was like it kept on going, and that just got me as a fan more invested into their match, in their promotion. So what's kept with the
yeah, that's our hero of the night right there, Kev.
Seeing the LA group over there. I saw the blue shirts, and that's why I thought I saw, like, I remember when they first busted those out, it said like the Familia LA, like GCW. So I saw the blue shirts, and I thought that was cool that they made the trip down there, because they're always a good group too in LA.
Wow. All right. Well, yeah, you ready to kind of just start rolling in through the matches here one by one and knocking them down?
Yes, and I will say this: you're probably carrying this first half of this review as TOS, since you have a great death match, usually play-by-play that puts the violence in everybody's imagination. So I will be letting you carry a lot of this one, and I can't wait to hear it as well.
All right, so I'm going to do my best on this one. There are quite a few wrestlers here that haven't been around for a while or are new to GCW fans. So I wanted to make sure we do, like always, give everybody just a little numbers here, let them know the championship counts and those kind of fun things. Boy, it's going to be fun if I can just get my mouth together here to talk. I got to wake up here. Okay,
you only have
so
to half the show, that's all.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, our first round, House of Horrors death match, Yuki Ishikawa versus Ultra Manus Black. So this was Ishikawa's debut. He's 28 years old, 6 years in ring, and wrestled every one of those years in BJPW, where he's best known. 3 championships in his career. His most recent was the BJW Deathmatch Heavyweight Championship for the 2nd time. He's been in the finals of 4 of his last 5 tournaments. Not too bad whatsoever. On to Ultra Manus Black. He was last seen in GCW at Orange Cassidy is Doing Something or Whatever, who knows, versus Nick Gage in a Yuletide death match on April 6, 2019. And I'd say he looks amazing at 48 years old, 22 years in ring, known for his extensive work at Chikara. He's a 2-time champion, with his last being the Chikara Grand Champion for the 2nd time. He walks out with a bundle of black light tubes. Senior official Adam Gauld is wearing knee pads and gloves, so you know it's going to get serious. I went ahead and just kind of kept it a little clean in this first one because the match was only 8 minutes long, and to me it was more like, it felt like a warm-up. But I would say Ultra Manus 100% looked damn good, especially for 48 years old. But there was a couple spots here worth mentioning. Manus puts Ishikawa through a barbed wire door bridge. Ishii punches the black light tubes into Mantis's chest, which that would have hurt just a little bit on both sides. And then I have Ishikawa planting Manus onto a board with tubes to get the win. So our winner here is Yuki Ishikawa. I didn't know if you had anything to say about this one. Again, my review on that one was a little shorter. I know a lot of people are happy to see Ultra Manus Black.
Yeah, I didn't know about his age. They both did really good. I think as you said, I think this was like to set the stage of what to expect for TOS. They can't go balls out crazy after match 1 and then still follow it up with 7 more matches still to go. But
right.
what they did, I thought was really good. I loved the opening, how it looked. It kind of reminded me of VXS when they had AJ Gray versus Matt Tremont, and like something similar. I don't know if it was called this. Like, I know they had the light tubes hanging, but they also had the cool lights that were shining off of the light tube. It looked really cool. But when I saw the hanging light tubes, I immediately went to that one, and I enjoyed how they quickly grabbed them all and dispersed of them quickly and started the violence hot. And especially for that rowdy crowd in AC, they needed that. And yeah, really good opener. And right away, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to come back on this podcast here and take back kind of all my questioning on TOS 9, because that was a brilliant opener, and I was a fan immediately, and they both showed why they were picked. And I think, as you said, the Big Japan for Ishikawa, I think that was MLJ kind of did a lot to set the tone for me as listing all their accolades and stuff from before the matches, and same thing with Prazak and Veda Scott. They really did a good job of informing fans like me of why they were picked to perform on one of the best, if not the greatest, deathmatch tournament in the world, and GCW TOS 9. They definitely did a great job of informing fans, and I definitely wanted to commend Prazak and Veda for that as well.
All right, you ready to go on to match 2, my man?
All right, match 2 is a swinging for the fences death match as Hideyoshi Kamitani goes against Big effing Joe. And I know you were excited to see Joe. I was excited to see Joe back as well. And yeah, I'll let you go on with your review.
All right, so this was Hideyoshi Kamitani's debut. He's 32 years old, 12 years in ring. Also a Big Japan Pro wrestler. He has 15 titles in his career, and he's the current 2-time BJW Deathmatch Heavyweight Champion. Excuse me. Then we go on to Big effing Joe. He's the beast from England. 37 years old, 19 years in ring. He's held 13 titles, a current 3-time championship holder right now with the NHW Hardcore Champion, the TNT Extreme Division Champion, and the DOA Pandemonium Champion. He's someone I'd love to see as an ultra-violent champion at GCW. I feel he checks off every box that I can think of as a GCW ultra-violent champion. He's experienced, tall, imposing, fearless, legitimately tough. He has a fuck him up energy, a good face. He cuts promos and he's well spoken. I couldn't honestly have a higher opinion. When Big effing Joe came out, people started chanting Big fucking Joe. Pretty easy to understand. I hope that's being heard by Brett and Wade appropriately, because the fans love him. Joe is, again, my #1 choice for the GCW Ultraviolent Champion right now. There were, yeah, see? Got you right there for a second, huh?
I like that one. That one's a good one.
It's an idea. It was either that, Murdoch, or Kirk. I figured any 3 of those right now could hold the title, show up and do the job when necessary. Even Big Joe here, he's from London, England. So he would have to be flown in once a month, whatever, something like that, just to defend. But I mean, that's better than once every 6 months or twice every 6 months, but we'll get into that part. New weapons to the show in this match. We had a thumbtack covered water cooler, doors with cans cut in half and arranged to spell TOS, a second board of cans, bag of thumbtacks, a stick with a light tube bundle. Joe had 2 fans hold a tube and threw Kamitani through it. Kamitani had a bunch of spooky dust on his face and eyes. The white powder made it look like he was wearing a mask for a while. Joe almost went for a tope. I'm wondering if a tope for Joe would be a Joe pay. Like a big fucking Joe pay. Joe used 2 hangers to double fish hook Kami. Double titty twisters came out next. Both are squirting lemon juice onto each other, not connected to the titty twisters. Joe given a backdrop driver through a large pane of glass and was covered for 3. Our winner moving on to the second round, Hideyoshi Kamitani. That was a loaded ass match.
Yeah, that was like the first big surprise for me. I was kind of hoping to see Big Joe kind of go pretty far in this tournament. I think he provides a lot of variety to death matches. Every single one of his matches is completely different than the one prior. Like new weapons, new ways to incorporate those weapons. That's why I'm kind of a big fan of Big effing Joe. So him losing, that kind of shocked me real fast, but I was impressed with that first match. Then I was really hoping to see Big effing Joe on night 2 on COS to kind of what they usually do, throw in a little extra death matches for people that lose the tournament early. And yeah, this was a good one. Kamatami, once again, a name I didn't know. Hearing him being the current BJW Deathmatch champion, I was like, okay, that right there is all I needed. The credibility. I did not know this information. It is a Google search away. Last week, I guess I had a week to Google search, but like that's just something like I didn't know. But if I would have known that going into the tournament, I'd have been a little bit more excited. But I was glad to hear it before this match to get me more invested in. It definitely worked out.
I need to start running preview shows.
Right?
Get some preview shows back on where I run these numbers instead.
I ain't gonna lie, your preview shows, I listened to a few of them, like all of them, but like a few of them, like you got me caught up on like a lot of stuff that I had no idea about, especially all the stats that you always round up on a lot of these wrestlers. They give great background knowledge, and preview show. We got to talk afterwards.
It was dry material, but like the only thing I will say is I was proud of the Christmas one, because the Christmas one that I did
that was the
took
big
like
one.
20 hours and it was a lot of fun. But, all right, so let's see here. Let's see. We announced that one. You think we're ready to go on to match number 3?
Yeah, where we at here? I scrolled down a little bit too far. There we go. All right, match number 3, probably the one match I was really looking forward to the most, was the DDT death match, as it was Brandon Kirk versus Shunma Katsumata. And this is kind of like, these were one of the two I wanted to win. If I picked two going into this tournament to root for, I wanted the winner of this match to go all the way. Both looked tremendous. I know Brandon Kirk got a lot of TOS love over the weekend, and I'm super happy and glad to see all that, because I am a big fan of Brandon Kirk, and he definitely stepped up and delivered a awesome performance the entire tournament, but also I think re-showed his value and worth as a deathmatch talent up in the GCW area. And I don't see why they don't use him a lot more moving forward from this weekend on.
He's highly popular. I think that's the best way to put it. It was almost like a small coming out party for Brandon Kirk. It was mentioned by well, yeah, pretty much. I think that's the best way to put it, but it was just the most popular I felt like he was over the time that I've watched him in front of a GCW crowd. And Chad Mins and I think a couple other people said the same thing. Like, this was definitely his weekend personally. All right. So yeah, Brandon Kirk versus Shunma Katsumata. This is Shunma's second match at GCW. His first match was at GCW versus DDT on March 31st, 2023, where he teamed up with Chris Brooks and Mizuki Watase to take on SGC. He's a current 3-time DDT Extreme champion. Brandon Kirk has been more of a mainstay lately at GCW, and I really do like his addition to more of the programming. You add his wife, and we have a real dynamic duo, from death matches to tags to singles. He can do most anything of what can be asked of a wrestler. I thought it was really cute seeing Casey recording and cheering on her husband, Brandon, from the sideline. You can see it when he enters out into the arena there. Shunma had a plastic bat with a rubber chicken attached. Then come the building blocks. Brandon got the worst of those. Shunma took Brandon's shoes and socks off, forcing him to fight on blocks, glass, and tacks. I also saw the big plastic bins. Those are your favorites. And this was the first time we saw a ladder for the night. There's a couple spots here. We had Katsu with a huge destroyer off a ladder. Shunma foot stomped Kirk through a pane of glass. Kirk was placed on a huge arrangement of plastic bins with some tubes on top. Shunma splashed right through them. Also, I don't know, maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. Did you see that there were Legos coming out of a tube bundle?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, could have been.
To go back and watch that.
So light tubes were placed on a chair platform. Kirk picks up Shunma. He's put through the glass tubes and chairs for the win. So our winner in this one and advancing into round 2 would be Brandon Kirk. And this is when I noticed something kind of funny. And I don't know if we've ever mentioned it before. Have you ever noticed that Mance Warner and Brandon wear the same looking gear? They could switch gear and no one know any better. Yeah, they got the black top with the jeans and they're not far off. Also, just to top this little batch of notes off here, as Brandon Kirk was leaving the ring, we're getting huge Brandon Kirk chants. On top of that, Shunma got please come back chants from the GCW crowd, and that means a lot. I felt like he also showed a touch more personality than the other Japanese wrestlers, and I think that is what connected with the fans.
Yeah, I think that's what it was for me too. Seeing him live in person at that DDT show. And I obviously being a Chris Brooks fan, I think just being attached to Chris Brooks made me a fan of Shunma going into that. That's why I was rooting for him. But both delivered. The violence and creativity and the weapon use was awesome. I was all in after this one. I just so far at that point, that's when I really noticed. Like I said, after match 3, there's been no recurring moves, no recurring themes or even weapons, as you were saying. It's just been, it was awesome to see. And I just love, like, that's the creativity I think I've been missing in deathmatch wrestling, because I feel like a lot of it is repetitive, and that's kind of what was my fear going into this one, and trying to find more talent to live up to the GCW name. And Brett definitely picked the best ones from BJW and DDT to come out, because I was enthralled. Like I loved the violence. Like I said, I like the creativity and how they used all that violence so far throughout this tournament. And Shunma was definitely up there for this match, definitely.
And you hit on something really interesting there. It just seems like GCW puts on a more concerted effort to have that variety, even on the deathmatch side. And I think it's important we do that, being that GCW is the #1 independent company. If anyone's going to be doing death matches right, it's our duty to do that.
Yeah, and he definitely picked like I said, the right competitors going into it to do that, because I had no idea what to expect, and seeing that was awesome so far. Our next first round match is John Wayne Murdoch versus the mystery competitor. Before we go into it, I know you have a bunch of notes and I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll let you go into your notes and go right into the mystery opponent.
All right, perfect. So Murdoch's record was a subject we covered extensively every time he was announced for a deathmatch tournament over here on this podcast. I was so sure of his first round win that I predicted it on X before we even knew who he was up against. I'm just letting you know, if you go look at the record on John Wayne Murdoch, barring a surprise just to fuck with fans, he goes deep in tournaments, especially deathmatch tournaments, because that's his forte. And when you have someone like that, that means he's a safe worker within that deathmatch arena. And of course, then you're going to want to keep your safest workers all the way through. Common sense. Broski Jimmy comes out next. I thought this was Murdoch's, opponent. It didn't happen that way. So instead he comes out and he introduces Slade, which the fans were just like, wow. So yeah, Slade was a surprise. Most people were happy to see him back. Last time we saw him was on March 4th, 2023 versus Effie at GCW. Holy smokes. There was a huge Slade chant that came up. This match elicits a holy shit and a welcome back chant for Slade, which was, wow. Somehow out of nowhere, Slade has really had this resurgence. I'm not the biggest fan, respectfully. That's perfectly fine. Other people do, and that's great. So if people are happy, then that's fantastic. What are your thoughts? Anything? I mean, you were surprised too, I'm guessing, right?
I was shocked I thought the same thing when Broski came out. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That's an easy one. I really don't like the tease of a mystery opponent if it's just gonna be somebody so well known as Jimmy Lloyd. But I thought the same thing. And then when they said, like, whose music's that? Like, there's another one, and then Slade came out. You could have gave me 100 names. That might have been one of the least ones I would expect, especially being a TOS tournament, because it's been so long since we've seen him. I know since like one of the last times we saw him was in a death match against Hoodfoot, and it didn't quite work out. So him being in this prestigious tournament of TOS 9 totally threw me off guard. I wondered, he looked incredible. I love to see him kind of look a little happy, and the fans were really happy to see him. So it was kind of cool for him to get that moment. Because as you said, it seems to have built up some. Well, I'm getting choked up even talking about it.
Oh, don't cry, man. No, it's okay. Like, he's getting emotional, guys. Give him a second. You need to get some tea.
No.
Okay. Okay.
But no, seeing Slade get that response was awesome because like he has that cult following and he got like really, really a bigger response than I expected. And like I said, I was shocked to see him, but I was kind of excited to see him. That was like an interesting name that I don't mind seeing because that was just so out of left field. And maybe he has improved and everything else since we last seen him. I don't know. And yeah, it shocked me for sure. And I was kind of hoping it would be maybe Jimmy Lloyd could make him a little run with everything that he's been kind of going on and stuff like that. But when he kind of cowered away from the match, as Great One said, it kind of was, if you kind of look at it technically, they did have 9 competitors for TOS 9 if you count Jimmy before he ran out the ring. That I didn't really like either. Jimmy running out. I thought maybe he'd come back and sneak in like some stupid Tony Deppen kind of win, like in these scramble matches when he disappears
Cardona
for a while.
style.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking was going to happen with Jimmy Lloyd here. But yeah, it was a good death match. Slade being a nice surprise, and John Wayne Murdoch stepped up here, and I think that's a kind of a safe opponent as we were kind of talking about for Slade to make his return as well.
All right. So you know when Murdoch is feeling himself because he likes to overact a little bit. If you watch in this match, you can see he's having a blast the whole time. This is the first match here with gusset plates. I wanted to make sure we announced them when the big boys show up because those things are crazy. Murdoch was dragging Slade through all the glass in the ring. Slade's back was completely sliced. It looked really bad towards the end of the match. Slade throws forearms at a door with gussets on it because it didn't break. Slade then threatens referee Max Recon. Murdoch rolls up Slade from behind for the 3. Our winner here is John Wayne Murdoch. And I'll just go ahead and say after this match again, Slade must have really been hurt deep inside because he goes back to that door and he completely destroys it to fan cheers. So it's nice to see that Slade always finishes the story.
Yeah, his intensity too. I think that's why I kind of really like him because he does seem like one of those loose cannons, Brian Pillman style. You just never know when he could snap and lose his mind in the ring or outside of it. So I was happy to see him back. I didn't really like the win, but I guess it is a nice, safe way to protect John Wayne Murdoch. He's going to go 2 more matches and save a little bit of damage, and he's definitely earned it out of all his deathmatch experiences as well in GCW. So while I didn't quite like it, it made sense, and I understand the reasoning behind it and thinking, but we still got a cool moment there with Slade.
So those 4 matches were our first round matches that completed them, that wrapped them up right there. To have a little pause in between, we had a 4-way match. Right before that 4-way match, there was a great video shown at intermission of GCW's trip to Japan. I would have to say, if you are an insider or a hardcore fan enough to be watching this show, you probably already have seen it, but if you haven't, go watch the intermission from GCW with that trip to Japan. Highly recommended watch if you like watching some of the inner workings behind the scenes. You can see all the difficulties involved at times. So yeah,
I love
GCW
video,
knows its audience. Oh, 100%.
That video was perfect.
I went back and watched it again.
Yeah, I sat down. I'm like, cause I was about ready to get up and expecting a timer and expecting some cleanup time before we get the second half of the show. But once I saw like the little video playing, I'm like, okay, hold on. And we got sound and audio and stuff. Like, let me sit down and watch this because this is. Then I start picking up all this from their Japan trip and like this is the cool shit that we pay on Patreon for. That we kind of got a little video, not videos, but like a couple little clips and like pictures and stuff, but we didn't get anything like that. So I thought that was a very cool, as you said, behind the scenes footage of what goes on into a GCW, a little bit backstage, while also in another country in Japan to do it is on another level as well. So I thought that was a very well-made video. All right. Our next matchup, as John said, gets into a little 4-way action to break up the death matches as we have Cole Radrick, Alec Price, Jordan Oliver, and Marcus Mathers. And this scramble was awesome. It kind of felt like a little mini all-star little scramble for a minute. I was kind of waiting for a little bit more bodies to show up to add some more name value, but they killed it. And I think this is just Mathers to me was the one that kind of shined for this one, because he's now, ever since it seemed like his last Japan trip, we've seen the growth in him keep on improving and improving. It's just awesome seeing him keep ascending upwards towards where we think he could be or should have been by now or what else. But it's nice to see him kind of still getting there and showing his improvement in the ring.
The average age in this match was 24. I thought that was a phenomenal little stat. Cole and Price have the advantage of being a team in this one by far, and you could see that from the beginning. I also liked Marcus versus Alec. They have two different styles that work well together. Both are different and unique, yet somehow they mix properly. They've had some real bangers one-on-one. Two of those were for the IWTV World title. That says a lot. But it's been a while, and I think it would be cool to see them run it back in GCW. Now, granted, there has been a JCW match, but I'd like to see him run it back again there. Price and Radjic almost had to face off at one point, and you could feel some real tension until they had a little handshake and a nod. Jordan did a really good job, as always. A lot of top rope offense from him I found very interesting. Cole wraps up Marcus with Little Sebastian's curse for the win. So in our four-way match here, in just a touch under 10 minutes, our winner in this one was Cole Radjic. And of course, like we knew he might be doing, Cole spinning the ring, his brass ring, around on his finger, purposely showing it off like he may be a real threat to the title tonight. I like that too.
I like that little tease as well. The tease was did get me a little bit like thinking of some possibilities for the next night. But yeah, great scramble. I think overall, like a good way to showcase, as you said, all the young talent that GCW has. And for, like I said, for me, like I think I didn't even realize maybe it was that whole sequence with Alec Price. Now going back and watching like the Destroyer and everything else, I think that's where I could see Marcus, those styles be completely different, but mix and mesh well together. And I think that's what shined out, in my opinion, of why Marcus Mathers is improving. So I'm glad you caught that too. And it was nice to see a nice little change of pace before we get back to the ultra violence here. And the first second round match is a made in Japan death match as Yuki Ishikawa goes against Hideyoshi Kamitani.
Kamitani, you got it.
Missed that one. I missed the first name. I got it right the first time. But yeah, I'll let you go into this one because this one was a little bit quicker than I kind of expected for a round two match.
Less than 6 minutes. I felt like this was just to get in there, get it done, and move an opponent on kind of thing. Fans were also a touch quieter in this match, mostly because they don't know both performers very well. So I noticed it was a lot of watching, claps and watching. Yeah, I was calling Yuki Ishikawa Yuki and Hideyoshi Kamitani Yoshi. So we had Yuki and Yoshi. It was so much easier for me. This was mostly a glass match. It was very it didn't have a personality in a way like it was telling a story. I don't have a better way to put it. My notes were even short on this one, but Yuki Ishikawa wins with a quick roll up. Our winner here is Yuki. I was honestly happy this was a 6-minute match. I don't know why, but I just wasn't engaged with both of them. The fans weren't really engaged. It was more like, here we are, but I'm just being fair. This is the TOS. We should be like loving every single one of them. And this one I was like, and I wonder if that's a waste of a match or not. And I mean, that sounds kind of bad, but that's what we got. So here we are.
I'm kind of right there with you. I felt like this out of the whole tournament, this was kind of like the one, like, okay, just made sense to, like, as you said, just let's move it along. Let's get the next winner in and get them going. I wonder now if there's like an injury or a cut or something like that. But I was still invested in to see all the violence, and yeah, it just seemed a little bit off. But I was rooting for Ishikawa there too, and I was kind of happy to see him pick up the win. But as you said, I not knowing really both competitors, I wasn't invested as much as probably I normally am either, especially going into the next match, because the next match kind of had a lot of history behind them, and they had a lot of stuff going on between those two. So,
and half the excitement of a tournament is knowing what one person can do and another person can do, and see how they're going to mix in ring. So you kind of run blind into round two, and there's only 2 matches in the second round, and one of them was 5-6 minutes long.
Yeah,
just being fair there.
All right, the next matchup is a lot better in probably both of our opinions, as it is the contraptions of deathmatch, as John Wayne Murdoch goes against Brandon Kirk.
I know these guys. So this is one of the matchups I was really looking forward to seeing because, again, we know these guys. I was looking at Murdoch. His favorite color must be purple. I noticed it's in all his gear. I must be the last one to catch on, but I see it in his, in a bunch of stuff that he wears. So it was also in the GCW tag team belt as the Bastards.
On the
They had
belt?
purple.
Oh,
Yeah, they
yeah, the
had purple belts.
leather. Yeah, you're
Purple
right.
silver.
Yep.
So in this match, some of the new items I found was a cactus board, a light tube trellis, some type of barbed wire contraption. There were tons of Brandon Kirk chants that were going on. Some nasty spots included a barbed wire contraption that I can't describe. They just kind of fell into it. Murdoch chokes
Spider
out
wire.
Kirk. Is that what it was? They called it kind of thing?
It was like spider, like I forget, spider web of like the. Oh my gosh, barbed wire.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to
Yeah.
remember that one next time. Murdoch chokes out Kirk at almost 11 minutes. Galt had to intervene to make the call. Our winner was John Wayne Murdoch. And if you look at Galt's face, he is selling the shit out of the fact that he did not want to call that match off, but Kirk was out. So, yeah, well done there. Good job by the camera of catching not only the referee's reaction, but the reaction of both wrestlers there on the ground. So, in the end, though, Murdoch and Kirk did hug it out, so no fear there. We still have frenzies, and they're still going to hang out on Saturday mornings. So it's all good there. Yeah, almost an 11-minute match. What did you think, man?
That was good. I appreciated as you caught on to the Adam Galt face at the end. I think that just showed like the fight that Brandon Kirk had. I think the crowd too was all for Kirk after match number one and kind of was like the dark horse. And we kind of seen John Wayne Murdoch in these tournaments and go deep. I think the fans kind of wanted to see Brandon Kirk get his little shine and spotlight. That's how I felt, at least as a fan watching it. And I was rooting for him too. And yeah, as you were saying, like Brandon Kirk chance, he absolutely killed it. Raleigh, what's up, man? I was actually just saying, I was about to have you guys reach out to you guys to come on and talk about this guy. I saw you guys there, and I've been off the chat for a little bit. So nice to see you guys enjoying all the ultra violence in almost said Philly, in AC. And
Raleigh.
yeah, I kind of feel the same way as you said about F and Joe. I think that's why I'm more of a fan when he's not doing that company stuff, other than just it's that company. But that's where he gets to like not just try to make a viral moment. He just wants to make cool looking shit and make it look violent and have fun with it in his death matches. That's what I've been noticing with him. Yeah, Brandon Kirk though, I was a good one. I as a fan was emotionally invested in I was like, Galt, don't do it. And he just saw Galt's like, I have to do it. I have to call it off for you. But I think that was a really good way to keep Brandon strong and keep his momentum while also making John Wayne Murdoch look strong. And I loved how they got into it too, like the submission at the, like he's so smooth with that transition too, and it's submission move. That's John Wayne Murdoch has definitely earned everything he's been accoladed with in the deathmatch community, and he was super solid in this match as well. I think he did a good job of also garnering some of that emotion from the fans throughout this match, the way he was punishing Brandon as well.
I swear they've done it all before. It's like they know what they're doing or something. You know? So after the match, then there was a wonderful video tribute to Marcus Crane. And we were then fortunate enough to see Matt Tremont enter the ring and grab a microphone. He gets his obligatory bulldozer chance. Then comes one of the the coolest videos I think I've ever seen on Abdullah the Butcher. Abdullah then gives Tremont his stamp of approval. He's now the Black Abdullah. All right. So, hey, I mean, maybe it just means dark or mean or mysterious. So, there's our Black Abdullah. Out comes Nick Gage to make an appearance. He gives his appreciation to the fans. I really wish they would have put a match here in between the next to last and the last match, but the Crane, Tremont, Abdullah segment gave them enough time. So, but I mean, if I had to hear Black Abdullah and all that stuff versus maybe like another 4-way match, maybe take that 4-way match. But deep down, I'm an old guy who appreciates all the history that was going along ringside right there.
And they had to promote the deathmatch induction afterwards because that's something they really didn't do at all throughout the show. Other than commentary, the commentary did a good job, kept on mentioning it, but I feel like they could have done some more graphics to kind of get the fans to go tune into the YouTube channel afterwards and stuff like that. Because I almost forgot late at night. I watched this way late at night, and I almost forgot about the JCW show because like after I got done watching this, PraiseX like join us on JCW for YouTube. I'm like, oh shit, let's go! Like, let's go. My night's not done yet. So like him mentioning it at the end did get me to turn over because I almost did forget about After Hours.
Wow. All right. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there was. I felt like there was something else I was going to say about that. I think it would have been cool if Abdullah would have given, Tremont a fork, like an actual passing of the torch. And then he always uses that fork. And it would have been cool for, Tremont to maybe spend money on like a gold colored fork or something. And what I mean? Like,
well, Tremont did like talk about that, like how when he did meet Abdullah, he was given that fork to him and stuff like that. So at least we did get the story of it. We just didn't get to actually see the passing of the torch.
No, I want to see the passing, bro. I want to see it. Pixar, it didn't happen. You know how that goes.
I'll be honest with you. This was so late at night, and I kind of forgot about the deathmatch induction thing. I saw Tremont come out there, and like this was kind of like my headphones were kind of off because there was no action or anything. So it was just sitting down. I was playing my game, and then all of a sudden I see him kind of look to the thing, and I see Abdullah. I'm like, holy shit, is Tremont gonna go against Abdullah, the butcher at TOS? And it wasn't announced. Like I totally spaced everything. But I'm like, no way, this is about to happen right now, is it? And like actually going to see, I went to go look at Raleigh and Frank and Gabe to see their reaction. They're turning around going crazy. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna get Abdullah the butcher match, and he comes rolling out. I'm like, oh, the death match in Hall of Fame. I totally forgot about that. Oh yeah, the JCW show, definitely Tremont got violent there. That was good to see Marcus Mathers just become a whipping boy for Tremont for a few minutes.
Wow. All right, so we've got a killer main event here.
All right, it is the TOS 9 finals, as it is John Wayne Murdoch going against Yuki Ishikawa, and I'll let you take it away from there.
All right, so I still don't know Yuki, so I'm not as engaged or as interested in the main event. Part of the participation is knowing that both wrestlers can do and wondering how they mesh. I know I put that earlier, but it's in my notes right here. There were lots of panes of glass, scaffolding that Murdoch falls off of. Eventually, there are flaming tables that are introduced to the match. There were weapons scattered everywhere. Both men went up onto the scaffold to fight, and then both fall off onto the flaming tables. That was the spot there. John covers for his first Tournament of Survival win. Again, short notes. It was an 8-minute match. So I'm just leaving that there also. So that was our main event. And I, like everyone else, was very happy to see John Wayne Murdoch finally get his TOS win. What are your thoughts?
I liked it. Like I said, I'm glad to see him get a TOS win. But I was kind of hoping for a little bit more going into it was kind of predictable. Like that once the 8 people were announced, and then that mystery person wasn't some big old name. To me, it became super predictable. This is John Wayne Murdoch's, and I don't mind it. Like I said, I'm glad. Good for him. He's definitely busted his ass and goes deep in these tournaments and does killer work every single time and always puts on great performances. This is like nothing on him. It's just me as a fan. I just need something new. I need a new face now. Like, I don't want to see him win NGI. I don't want to see him win TOS. Like, he should be done winning these GCW tournaments. And I now want to see, like, they need to start getting a new face, I think. They need to start building up. I wouldn't mind seeing John Wayne Murdoch. I think this is going to go into what we're going to talk about. Him being the ultra violent champion, as you were saying, that to me is a solid choice. You picked John, or you picked Big Vin. I say John Wayne just because, as you said, I know he's reliable. He's going to put on good matches, and he's going to be one you can count on to show up and defend that title way more than what we're seeing now.
Kirk would have been a good choice too.
For me, my choice is Kirk, just to kind of get that little rocket on him, take advantage of kind of his popularity right now. him being back into the scene kind of go along with him, because as you said too, he's just as reliable, can have a variety of different matches, singles if you want to tell a story of
Yep.
get involved and get a little story going on, and somehow some way, like Brandon Kirk's going to make being the ultra violent champion work as well and do a lot of cool stuff with it too. But for me, for these tournaments, after seeing John Wayne, I was like, good, no more. I don't want to see him win. I want to see new names. I want to see new face. I want to see this division be built up domestically with people that we're going to see quite often, so that way we could start getting invested in these people. Because right now I don't have any investment in what's going on with the ultra violent scene during this tournament. I came into this not expecting a lot. The talent killed it. I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was awesome. I eat my words. It was way better than I was going out for. What do I expected in this match? And they went out and killed it. I just want to see new domestic names being built and ultraviolet being kind of used a lot more on Game Changer.
You know, it's funny. You're right. It is running right into what I was going to say here. All right, guys, my respectful opinion, half our titles aren't on TV because they're in Japan. A few weekends ago on both the shows that weekend, paying fans didn't see one championship defense. Why? Because 3 out of 4 of the champions were once again in Japan. Rini Yamashita, how many times has she defended the title in GCW this year? Twice. In the last 6 months, twice. January 12th and April 6th. An 8-minute match.
And April 6th, I'm not counting because that wasn't no death match with Billy Dixon. Sorry.
I get that. Yeah, an 8-minute match and a 9-minute match. The 2 shortest matches of her entire run were the 2 most recent. I've sat on this subject for a while, but we need a new champion, or we need an active champion. I love her when she's on GCW programming. If you're only showing up 2 times in half a year, you shouldn't have the belt. She's not defending the title. She's not advancing stories, not giving anyone any entertainment on GCW TV. She's absent. I feel the belt is for the fans. Let that sink in for a minute. But I would say if the person isn't here, respectfully hand it over. And when you have time, come and chase it. And then we'll congratulate you on your second run. So I have a wild idea. I propose our champions defend at most GCW events. If they don't have time, strip them. Fans make time every week to watch the show. If our world champion can be stripped, then we can do it to our other champions. If you don't show up, you're out. This is independent wrestling. There are people in the back that busted their ass to get there. The fans want a champion. On to the next. We have faces that fans love who show up every weekend and deserve titles, while others barely take it off the shelf to defend it halfway across the world. You know, I wanted Big F and Joe and Murdoch in the main, maybe Murdoch and Kirk, but I just wanted to kind of put that out there real quick and just say it that right now we haven't seen our tag titles as much. Our champion just got stripped. Luckily, we have a new champion. God bless him. He's going to be great. But yeah, so we have 4 active titles. 2 are constantly in Japan, never defended. Maki, I think, defended her. Maki gained it off the top of my head. Maki earned it on March 9th, 2024. And and then defended it once on 420 in LA. We were there for that show. And so in 3 months, she's defended once. And let's see, January 12th, I think, was the defense on Arena. Sorry about that. I had a brain like, so yeah, on the 12th of June, there's going to be 1 match we've seen out of her in 6 months. So I'm just saying, I know we're moving away from deathmatch quite a bit, but maybe it's time to get a deathmatch champion, because having Violence is Forever as your tag team champions and then having a heel as your world champion, that's all our champions. 2 belts, which is fine, but people tune in for death matches. I mean, check out how many people tune in for TOS and COS. I'm just being fair. So like I said, GCW has a responsibility to do this right. Let's do this right. Let's take the best death matcher that we can find and have them defend the fucking belt. That would be nice. So I'm just saying, maybe we do something about this, because it worries me when that's how much of an afterthought our 2 titles are, the UV and the Extreme. And that worries me, because that's part of what I tune in to watch for. So I'm not saying make it a deathmatch show, but I'm saying give me one or two a show and make it worth something. Give me the champion. Give me a champion that can roll to every city with GCW and beat the piss out of their local if we have to. Just give me somebody, because right now, technically, that belt's just sitting on a shelf, and it has been for months. And so has our other title. So like I said, that leaves us too. It's kind of dark days at GCW right now. It's a lot of heels. And now Cardona just took over. So I'm curious to see how this all goes.
I thought Cardona could have done stripped Rena of that belt, and it would have made more sense and put it on the line for the finals to add a little bit more importance, actually a lot more importance to this tournament, as now you're fighting for the ultraviolet belt. I would have been absolutely cool with that instead of Blake being being stripped of it. But yeah, I did all that kind of saying last episode. So I agree with you. Everything you just said, I said last episode, and it doesn't make any sense. If we're going to have a champion, and especially I think what you said, like we've said, like snuck it in there a little bit. Kirk would be a nice one, but I like the last one too. I like this one. Actually wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have mind seeing Slade kind of being an ultraviolet champion. I could, at least he's out there, But yeah, I think as you like, we kind of slipped in, getting away from the the deathmatch scene. Like it feel like we've kind of made note of that for quite a few months actually on it before we even came on Game Changer. We kind of talked about, it seems like that's what they're moving away from, and we are fine with it if it leads to our talents of Vikingo and all these other new names we're seeing. And if that's going to be replacing the ultraviolet like scene, then that's fine. But if we're going to have that belt, I think I agree with you. I always liked like the TV thing of like once every 30 days, like defend it once a month. If you can't defend it once a month, like then guess what? We have a tournament that's going to be a cool show. We'll make a tournament out of it, make a cool scramble. But that's some importance to a show that wouldn't have had anything, or couldn't have had anything. Now you just added a lot to that thing, and now you've quickly fixed your problem into a cool solution. I don't mind tournaments. I don't mind like if you have to, like, it's like as you said, it's independent wrestling. Like shit happens, but if you can't do it one time within 30 days, I don't think you should be our champion. And I don't mind seeing new champions being crowded. It's wrestling. Like it's like, why can't we celebrate all these talents? Why can't they have their moment if it's in due time? Why can't they have that time to shine, even if it is for a show or not? They lose it to somebody else that might have been more deserving or something. I'm all for title changes and everything else. And as we will get into COS, I kind of got everything I wished for a couple months ago, and that involved multiple champions apparently. And I left very satisfied. So I think there are cool ways to book yourself out of unfortunate situations that do pop up. But I agree with you. 30 days, like once a month, is not a lot to ask for. And if you can't fulfill it, cool. Go do what you need to do. We're going to do this on the meantime. We're going to do our thing. If you're ready to come back, now you got a cool challenger, a cool moment, a welcome back moment, a cool pop-up surprise that we haven't seen for months, and boom, now we got a challenger, and now you booked yourself right back into it. It's, in my opinion, I think with you, nice, easy fix to some problems that could be avoided.
I don't know. It's just, it caught me by surprise. It's been months, and I'm like, she's coming back. She's coming back. She hasn't been coming back. And here comes this wonderful weekend where she won last year, no appearance. And I'm going, okay, what the heck is going on? Okay, let's say she's injured. Mail the damn title back home. Just go for it. Just mail it back, because what's going on is a lot of people are itching for championships to be defended in this company right now. So be it. That's just because we're competitive fans. We like to see things like this. So if possible, since especially we are dialing back on the death matches, could we have one of those death matches per show mean more by having it as a championship match? Not asking for many matches. I'm just saying, give me one, give me two at most on a show. I'd be more than happy. Give me representation.
And even if you can't get the champion, throw in one of those matches to build up a challenger. Like, get us invested instead of just randomly picking people out of a hat. Like, I sometimes feel that it happens for these title matches. Like, build up something, make us get invested. Like, I don't even want to say his name just in case of anything that might be attached to it. But like that Mance Warner versus Hunter Freeman match, I wasn't a title match, but I was super invested because it built up Hunter Freeman as a next possible challenger to the ultraviolet champion at that time. And like, It had no title attached to it, but we had a crazy match and it built a new challenger that would make sense. Like, you build new talent, and that's how it's always going to constantly keep on going, as independent wrestling is always going to keep on going. You got to keep on finding new ways to push the talents that are there that you want to work with.
Dude, there's so much going on there. I felt like I had to get a little bit of that off my chest and just say,
I
hey,
did it last episode.
No, that's okay. It's just, I'm sitting here going, hey, you know, it's a great title. Can we have someone defend it again? Just please. Because
especially after a weekend like
now,
this.
just, yeah. And then, I mean, when is she booked to even come back? Because I don't really see anything on her off the top of my, you know what I mean? I can look at it for a while, but you see what I'm saying? So how many months more before we see her again? And how useless is that? How entertaining is that? So I'm just saying, you know, you paid so much for this title. You paid so much to build it. You paid so much to put it on TV, put it back on TV, use it. It's a fucking prop. Make the most of it. I believe in it and I know it's a prop. I mean, come on. So I'm just being fair about it, if anything. Yeah, let's see if there was anything else I wanted to bitch about. Nope, that was pretty much it. I just basically wanted to say that I want our UV title back if it's not going to be defended, because I love watching it be defended.
Yep, I am right there with you. All right, let's go into now COS 3, and we are going to cover now Cage of Survival 3. I do have another quick little video from the tremendous video team at GCW, and we will get a little hyped for COS 3 here.
See you in a minute.
Every day I'm awake, I almost died. When I was a kid, I drank fucking times. I guess it's true what they say. I won't save me. Reality dances with my eyes. Violate my own state of mind. I guess it's true what they say. I won't save me. Cause these trips and the trips until my brains finally the ditch. And we never found the fix because we don't exist. Are you mad? Are you mad now? That I'm too far gone. Are you mad that you can't be like me? Too far gone. You can try to keep up now, but you do it all wrong somehow. Are you mad that you can't be like me? Too far gone. Are you mad that you can't be like me? Too far gone. Are you mad that you can't be like me? Too far gone. Are you mad that you can't be like me? Too far gone. Are you mad that you can't be like me? Too far gone.
Man.
Wow. A lot more to cover now. So should we go into the comments first to cover that one real fast, or go right into our review?
No, man, we've been sitting on a comment or two for a while here. Let's roll them, bud. Let's get everybody involved.
All right, so we're gonna go this one first, and I'll go to the other one afterwards. Here we go. Oops, I scrolled up. My bad, too far. Here we go. All right, so great one wants to know if we're going to talk about that video. Those ones with those sick bat shots on Joey. He doesn't think it should have ever made the company so Bush League on social media. I liked it. I love the attempt at it. I would have found some other way to do, maybe not baseball bats, and if so, maybe hit him a little bit harder. I think a lot more questions got raised after that. For me, is like, who are those two masked people? That's what I want to know. Is who are those two masked people? I was thinking when I saw that happen, I thought that was Mason kind of getting involved and maybe sending Pero or Holiday over there. Get the little inconspicuous piano wire. You could have done a choking thing. Didn't have to make. I was like thinking like when
Hold
Joey
on,
yelled
hold
like,
on.
"Oh," so good.
What video? Let's make sure we let them know what's going on. Okay, so there was a video that was shot as a I don't want to say preamble, but there was something that was shot.
I have it here if we
Basically, Cardona. You do have it? Yeah, because I
give me
mean,
2
we can
seconds.
show it just for a minute. It's no big deal. But yeah, so what's going on here is Great One's basically saying, yeah, they didn't beat him up, but they beat him up. You know what I mean? It was wrestling kind of related, but the bat shots kind of, you know, I wasn't looking for realism. It was more funny to me.
Here we go.
Yep, there's Kev. He says, roll the tape.
Let's roll the footage here.
Let's roll the footage, Bob. Oh shit, look at this. Okay, I honestly thought these were first 2 camera guys. You know what I mean? Like camera crew.
I thought it was Pero and like I said, Pero and
Pero,
Holiday. Well, like, I don't know.
If Pero's really that small in real life.
The little hunch there.
What's up, Bizzard? I see Bizzard's in the house.
Can they hear us? I don't even know if they could hear us or not.
I don't know. Can you guys hear us? I don't know. Kev, I was safe on the 11th floor.
Oh, you hear this? Okay. See, like right there when Joey goes down and like yells, "Oh fuck!" I'm like, dude, they're gonna call security on him. Like, they gotta kind of calm down there. Yeah.
Look at those vicious bat shots, bro. Oh no, dude had a hook.
I never even noticed the hook until now.
I didn't either. Well,
at the turnbuckle hook.
You know what would have been funny is if they would have picked up the fucking do not disturb thing and put it on his doorknob and shut the door. It would have been beautiful.
I don't hate it. Like, I love what they're trying to do, but like I said, once I heard Joey yell out at an open door, like, "Oh fuck!" and then you hear like that clanging, I'm like, "Oh, dude, he's got to watch it. They're gonna get some like security." So I right there was like, I get it. Like, okay, yeah, those are weak shots, but I don't know. Like,
it's wrestling. It's wrestling. So what's going on is his back hurts. You know what I mean? We're working around a back injury.
Back shot.
I heard back shots too, bro. Yeah.
I liked it. It did totally change my opinion on what the hell is going to happen and get me way more invested. I don't think it looked as bad as when it was like on AEW with those punches, and like that's different. Like that's on AEW and national TV. That you can't be doing this shit. This one, I get what you're saying and the little negativity on it, but for me, I put that aside and I very much enjoyed it.
I think it's funny. You can't take GCW seriously. You know what I mean? Unless they take themselves seriously, you can't take them seriously. The Bizzard, did you know that Hornswoggle had a vlog? And that's wonderful content. He just tries to make Zack Ryder uncomfortable all the time.
That doesn't seem like it's too hard to do. I've seen some of those things he acted like on that the WWE had that show, like they did pranks, like they had to go back and like sit down for an interview and like it's like shock him. He's like, "What the fuck is that?" Like he would get super annoyed, but then he's like, when he found out about it, you could tell he got into it and liked it. But I could see him getting annoyed super fast.
Oh boy.
All right, so that's how we opened up before actually that is how we opened up COS. They started off by showing that video to going into it. So I get that I enjoyed it. I liked it. I get the hate from it, but I was invested, and COS did not disappoint.
Dude, yeah, Bizzard, here we are. That show was wonderful. You're damn right it was. All right, so Cage of Survival 3 from the Showboat. This was the show we were all waiting for. Most fans anticipated COS over TOS because of the Effie and Mance match. It's the most anticipated ending to the feud of the year, in my opinion. Then Cardona bookends this show with a wild gauntlet main event never seen before in GCW history. So I thought that was a great run up to the show. This show right now, I just checked it here on Cage Match, rated by other wrestling fans. It's sitting at an 8.73 out of 10. That's the highest rated GCW show in the last 3 years. Not since TOS 666 on June 5th, 2021 have we seen one this high. This show is that good. It will go down in GCW history as one of the best historically. Right now, I think it's sitting at number 7 or 6 when it comes to just rankings. it's definitely easily one of the top 10 ever. Just the storyline alone puts it up there. And then you put the chaos that happened in this first match. I mean, I don't have a good word. I don't have good words for it. It was really just, you don't see this on the independent scene too often. And when we do, it's like, just take it all in as much as you can. So let's see here. I have the GCWs onto something special. The changes made both shows more entertaining. The violence level was extremely high all weekend. We open with a shot from the main camera. The terminal is full again. Emil's in the ring. The show cuts to a video package showing two men attacking Joey. That's the one we just watched. He was injured and sent to the brutally fucking injured. We go back live and Emil welcomes us to COS 3. So we go straight to a video package featuring the Effie and Mance feud. This is kind of a catch up. Their match goes on first tonight, probably because setting up the cage takes so long and it gives Mance a small breather for his spot later in the night. When I saw Effie and Mance go first, I automatically expected a Mance challenge later that night. I just didn't expect the chaos that went down in the main event. I'm thinking you probably thought the same thing.
Yeah, when we kind of talked about it at the beginning. I think last week I said I could see them opening up a COS, Effie picking up the victory and getting his moment to shine, and then I could still see at the end Mance kind of likes how Seth Rollins did, losing to Randy Orton at the beginning of the show, but ultimately gonna get all the heat and ruin the show and ruin everyone's happiness at the end. I was kind of thinking that way. When Joey got brutally attacked and they said he was at the medical facility, I'm like, oh, here comes one of those spots. You're gonna hear the siren. He's gonna come in, and here's Joey to save the day.
His head is wrapped.
Like how, yeah, that's
Terry Funk style.
Yeah, exactly like him. I can see him doing exactly that just because of how Joey is. So when I saw that, I was intrigued. I was like kind of like 50-50. I was expecting that for Joey, but then I'm wondering, like, do they have something crazy and special planned at the end? And if so, like with Mance, how's Mance going to be involved? And how's Cole going to get involved? How's Joey going to get involved? I was very interested, and as you said before, I was one of those people that's definitely looking forward to COS more than TOS. And yeah, holy shit, it was a show. It was a great, like, unexpected, one of those holy shit shows, as you were saying, like top one of those ones we're going to talk about for a while, because especially the last 20 minutes, so crazy. Then that's what GCW got from me when I first started, the unpredictability of it. And even though it was kind of predictable, the ultimate how they got there was totally unpredictable, but the ultimate ending maybe might have been a little bit predictable, but I don't care because it was so entertaining and how they got there.
I'll tell you what, they spiraled this thing in 100 different ways. You know what? We'll get there as we go. You ready to roll into the Cage of Survival match? Good old Effie versus Mance Warner.
Opening the show hot.
All right. The epic finish of the feud of the year that we all waited for happens now. Mance comes out first, heavy boos. He's not facing off with fans. He's obviously too focused. He goes almost right to the ring. With all the emotion, he looks like he's on fire in that ring. He's wearing gloves. I know it'll be violent. Mance never wears gloves, so I knew we were in for something special. Next comes out Effie, huge chance. He's not in his usual gear, which hurts, especially on such an important day. He had posted on Twitter that somewhere his and Allie's gear got lost. So I know it's not going to be easy for him to wrestle in jeans, but that's what he decided to do. I feel any other match, he probably would have went for jean cutoffs. So, you know, we got what we got there. But again, with all the damaging things that he was playing with that night, I think long pants were a really good choice. And he agreed, I think, on his Twitch stream earlier today. He's like, I'm really happy that I wasn't in fishnets. I said it would have been funny if Effie, oh, you're muted, brother.
Sorry, I was just saying, I actually think I like the jean look. I think it made it look more of a street fight instead of a wrestling match of how it should look.
You know, and then you match that with his body. It's like, you know, dang, you know, I was joking with my wife. I said it would have been funny if Effie came out in jeans and Mance came out in fishnets. It didn't happen that way though. So yeah, the wrestling match had a big fight feel. it was matched with a lot of anticipation from the fans. The hard cam side of the cage is laid down flat and is attached to chains. We have better visibility at home because of it. Thank you so much for that. There are Effie chants that never seem to stop. A great job by Emil and commentary for letting the crowd chants be heard. One thing I can say, Prazak knows when to let things breathe. The better way to say it is he knows when to shut the fuck up and just let it ride. And I don't know if that's Brett's call, Prazak's call, or who, but I've noticed over the years when something important is going on, they know when to be quiet and just let it ride. So give him credit for that. Senior referee Adam Galt was counting shoulders in this match. When announced, he gets boos. Someone yells, "Fuck you, Adam." How terrible. You know what, though? That reminds me, we didn't have a chance to talk about who we're going to have on next week's show. I like how we sneak these things in there. So on June 11th, that's our next show on Tuesday, same time as always. Our next guest for next week's show will be senior referee Adam Galt. So that is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to have him on, basically because if you ever had a chance to listen to him talk, boy, he knows his stuff. He really knows his stuff. And if you're a nerd for the business, he's going to be imparting some knowledge, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I squirreled off there. Let's get back into the match. There was a small block of fans that were cheering for Mance. They got booed a couple times in return. Quality Wrestling started this match for the first couple minutes. Here come the tubes then. Effie broke a tube to cut Mance's head. Mance got bloodied. Effie is scraping it across the cage, trying to open up that wound. Effie is then delivering our first chair shot. We hear, "Kill him, Effie, kill him," from the fans. Mance gains advantage and delivers his own chair shot and tubes across Effie's head. He uses that tube to cut Effie's head, and now Effie is cut and bleeding. Mance then works Effie's cut with Fizz. So basically, they cut each other open, work that cut, and now we have ourselves a match. Fuck Mance Warner coming from the fans. Effie with a triple boot to Mance's head. Effie then is onto the top rope. Mance bashes a tube over Effie's back. Mance hits a huge superplex onto the open part of the cage. They both fall, and the steel cage bends heavily towards the ground. GCW chants from the crowd. There's a glass pane that was laid across the cage that somehow didn't get broken. They stood up, and then a Russian leg sweep onto that pane just to break it. Mance and Effie finally gather themselves and get back in the ring. Mance covers for 2. Mance is then swinging a chair on Effie's back. He misses a headshot when Effie ducks. Effie then takes the chair and delivers a nasty chair shot to Mance's head. Mance is bleeding, laying in the corner. He looks completely brutalized. Effie grabs lighter fluid. A door bridge has been built. Mance has a tube bundle and he puts it over Effie's back. As he's down, Mance starts spraying fluid all over the door. He picks up Effie, lights the door on fire, and Effie goes through the door. Unfortunately, Effie is also on fire for a small amount of time. Mance covers for 2.
And Effie was fine. That chant was awesome.
Yep, Effie was fine. It was fun watching ring crew constantly feeding weapons into the ring. Effie was taking light tubes to the head, and he starts hulking up. Effie throws tubes at Mance. Mance catches, and Effie spears him, and the tubes be popping. Mance is up on the top rope. Effie jumps off of the chair to spear Manders, and the cage breaks away. They both fall outside of the ring and onto the barbed wire covered contraption, which you said was called what?
I think it was like a spider web. Barbed wire spider web.
The barbed wire spider web. Both were cut badly, and at one point, Effie's legs were almost perfectly upside down on the fall. He looked like he fell head first. They lay there, and you can see barbs sticking in their skin. Effie pile drives Mance head first onto the barbed wire. Our cage is basically fucked on 2 of the sides. The cage basically couldn't hold Effie and Mance. Effie builds a glass bridge. Mance is back up. Both are fighting. Mance eats a tube bundle and gets put through the glass bridge. Moments later, Effie gets speared through a pane of glass in the corner. Mance covers for 1. Effie's back up and the crowd is alive. Effie with a sack rider. Mance somehow answers with a clothesline. They both collapse to the floor. Fans are to their feet with GCW, and that's all you hear. The ring is completely covered in glass. Effie then props a door in the ring. Mance pulls out the screwdriver and runs towards Effie. He misses, and it ends up getting stuck in the door. He's standing there the whole time trying to pull it out. While that's going on, Effie grabs a tube and breaks it over Mance's back, and then 2 more tubes. Mance finally detaches from his screwdriver and falls to the floor. Mance turns a sack rider into a power bomb and covers for 2. Both are covered in blood and loose glass. There's a platform of 6 chairs built. There are doors being stretched across them. Build that shit, Chance, for coming from the crowd. I seen something like 8 pairs of hands on or near the ring, either building or helping to build during the match. So great job, guys. We now have a triple-decker double door with a glass pane on top of a bridge. Mance was soaking the whole thing in lighter fluid. Both are fighting again. Mance goes to the top rope. Effie follows him up to the top. Effie delivers headbutts to kind of soften Mance. He gets set up for a superplex. Mance is completely out of energy. The whole structure is set ablaze. Effie superplexes Mance through the flaming triple 2-door glass pane bridge, and he covers for the win. Our winner and an epic end to the feud of the year for at least now, Effie. There we go. So yeah, Effie ends up pulling it off in the end. We knew it had to end this good.
That ended perfectly. That was a war. I actually felt like those Effie and Mance should be proud. I'm thinking Mance wanted something like back in those Von Erich days of like just having the crowd completely hate you and like you guys go to war and the crowd he definitely has earned and garnered that from the fans this entire feud, but Effie has definitely stepped up and delivered the violence back to Mance. Feud of the year is perfect. As a fan, I don't think I've been emotionally invested in a feud since like Jordan and Atticus, and that one kind of ended in a bloody way, not nearly like this was. But man, Mance and Effie definitely had the blood feud. Like that's what you show wrestling fans, like what wrestling is about and how violent it can get and the emotions. This feud has been it, and I thought it was ending the cool as you're about to get in the ending of everyone coming out and celebrating Effie and kind of putting the end to this thing was a nice little cherry on top. And I loved it. This match lived up to the entire feud's hype, and I think it culminated in the most violent way possible they tried setting someone on fire, but without doing that, I definitely think a message was sent, and this feud was awesome. I think it just encapsulated to what GCW is with the violence and like just fighting for this company of how this company should be ran and how each one envisions it to be ran its way. I loved it. It was perfect.
And a lot of people think, well, Effie, well, Mance, well, out comes Manders, Cole, Alec, Ali, like all the major players that were also part of this story. So a lot of people think, oh, Effie, Mance. I'd have to say at least 7 or 8 people bled for this story. So we have to look at it as a cooperative effort here. But I'm with you. I hope a lot of GCW talents took notes, and maybe they found a way to make themselves more interesting in the eyes of the fans. I don't know a better way to put it here. So Mance leaves last, and he gets his own ovation, which, of course, the GCW fans are good to always do. I feel he should get his respect here. He worked his ass off. He made the big bad wolf look big and bad. We also got a "You deserve it" chant on the way out since he got his shit kicked in. One hell of a story. There was so much emotion and struggle. To me, this was the anchor of TOS COS weekend, and I couldn't have wished for a better story and ending. When I first originally heard this was all going to be put together a long time ago, before I knew something was getting put together over a year ago. Excuse me, over a year ago, and I had no idea it was going to be this big. This was a lot of intelligence and careful planning that went into this, and kudos to them for doing everything they did here. Effie and Manders showed that storylines matter. I hope to see more of this at GCW, and with Cardona as GM, I feel we will have more. Anything you'd like to say about them?
No, I agree. We always ask for more stories, and we
Yes.
got the story of all stories here. And I think it just plays into like something I've always been saying. I've always wanted to see them struggle. Like I want to see GCW struggle to take back what's theirs instead of letting these new faces come in and kind of run it. And that's exactly kind of what Mance has been saying. And this blood feud was just perfectly drawn out, place. I said after match one, how do you gonna beat that? That's it. You can't get
Yeah.
more violent than that. They just kept on upping the violence, getting me more emotionally involved. As you said, getting Cole and Alec and all these other people, Manders involved and Ali. It just was a cool moment at the end, as you said, to see them all kind of come out and support Effie. As you said, they bled for Effie for this whole thing. So, definitely something that wrestling, me as a wrestling fan, always loved and been dying to see and want to see a lot more of. There's more space out there to allow more than one story to play out like this and get fans emotionally involved in. I agree with you. Under Cardona, I hope and expect to see a lot more storylines going forward in GCW, and I'm excited for it. All right. After that craziness of Cage of Survival, our second match is one I think we were both looking forward to. I know I definitely was. Megan Bain versus Speedball Mike Bailey, two people that I thought should have been in the gauntlet. So once I kind of saw the match was announced, I was a little disappointed, but at least I got to see these two kind of go off and go at each other because I think maybe last episode I asked for Megan versus Speedball. I think I wanted like even face on off during the gauntlet. I think that would be a tremendous match for Megan. And wow, this match just showcased Megan needs to be up there talked about with all of our other people that we talk about getting pushes in GCW because she has been impressive. And Speedball had another impressive match in GCW with Megan Bain.
Yeah, Megan Bain walks into this match undefeated. That alone could be a storyline they could build upon down the road. Mike Bailey, always getting a warm welcome by fans. Again, we've both spoken before. We love Mike Bailey. We love what he stands for. Good guy. The match starts. Megan is very stoic. Speedball's wanting to appear bigger by puffing up his chest. You could see that he was slightly the smaller wrestler in this one. There were still chants for both wrestlers, even though Speedball was supposed to be the good guy here. For Megan, I feel there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. As long as she falls more towards confidence than cockiness, then I feel she'll maintain a positive face character as the fans define her now. Although I do see that she could be a nasty heel if they wanted her to, because again, all the posing and shit could be very cocky. So we'll see. Bailey's speed training and innovative offense kept him extremely competitive in this match, where Megan's strength and mental fortitude was her competitive edge. Mid-match, Bailey's getting booed for kicking Bain, which is funny now. People are defending the heel. Giving credit to Mike for also selling so well. Great job by Bain for selling her arm. The ending here, Bain clothesline Speedball while attempting his tornado kick, follows with a choke slam and a tombstone for 3. Our winner here, Megan Bain. Again, here we are. Bain won fans at the end of the match. Also, same with the selling. Bailey put her over really well. I'm also convinced more now than ever. I think we need to see Bain versus Masha. What are your thoughts?
I would love to see. I think Bane's been filling in a good spot lately that Masha's kind of been not there as a dominant female. That Megan's just been killing it with no matter who she's been put in the ring with. She has looked impressive, but I think overall, like as much as goes into a Speedball match, that's probably one of like these Joey's match is always going to be one of those Joey matches, but like they have time to slow down and set up some of the craziness and spots where Speedball's matches are go, 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 go. And you have to be right there in the right spot. And she definitely stepped up and held her own with the Speedball pacing of the match, the style of the match. And she, like, as you said, got her strength over and like showed why the fans love her because she could be so imposing as a heel. She could be imposing as a heel, but as you said, garner the fans in as long as she doesn't play too much into the heel aspect. But I can't say enough about it. I haven't seen like talent come in and just do that good. Like I said, I maybe watched a couple matches, a couple clips of her on like Beyond or one of those other like IWTV specials and like things that I always see her name on. I had never really watched like big full on matches other than like maybe one or two, but what she has shown in GCW, I very rarely see that for new competitors, and she's done it with a variety of different opponents, from Jimmy to Joey, now to Speedball to Ali. Like, no matter what you put her in so far, she's impressed, and she needs to be mentioned up there as like a Masha for our GCW. And I would love to see Masha versus Bane, even though stylistically it might not be good. I could.
Oh, that's the good part. That's the
Yeah.
good part. They differ in that sense. Masha's going to stretch out Bane's. Bane likes to be, like I said, stoic and more. She's going to force Bane to speed up. And at the same time, Bane's strength will force Masha to kind of slow down a little bit. I'd be kind of interested in how that goes. You see what I'm saying, right? We can't just have two giants. With wrestling, you have to have a giant and a little person. You know what I mean? You have to have that story. I think their differences, I don't know. I think what it is I just want to see how it mixes, how the soup mixes in the bowl when those two get together.
Yeah, that would be one to watch out for. That would be a highlight match for sure. All right. Our next matchup is a hardcore tag team match. As the Garbage Daddies, Alec Price and Cole Radrick go against a team of Hideyoshi Kamitani and Yuki Ishikawa. And I was kind of, I think Prazak even mentioned it too. I was kind of expecting a little bit more hardcore and violence after seeing what those two did the night before. But now seeing them going against Garbage Daddies, I was like, okay, we're going to get maybe a different stylistic match, which is good because I'd never seen them like actually those two do a wrestling match, where I always wonder how like their technical wrestling is and just tag team wrestling is, and they did good, and like they did incorporate obviously at times the hardcoreness and the ultra violence, but I think it was like perfectly mixed and matched well. And the stylistic differences in this match was called out by Prazak, and I was expecting the same thing, but ultimately I thought this was another good performance from Yoshi and Yuki, as you like to call them.
Yeah, Yoshi and Yuki, these are my boys. They come out to claps. People are still again trying to get an idea of who these guys are. The Garbage Daddies are a huge fan favorite, and the crowd came alive when they stepped out. It took over a minute of cheers for the match to start. I don't know if you've noticed that. And again, Prazak stayed quiet, commentary stayed quiet, and just let the fans cheer it out. And even after the match started, there were another 30 seconds of chants. Garbage Daddies are over like crazy. It doesn't matter which member it is. Both of them are over like fire. Garbage Daddies teamwork pulled them through. We had a barbed wire door that Cole got stuck. His skin got stuck to. There was a barbed wire door bridge built. Cole got suplexed through it. This poor guy. Cole holds up Yoshi, and they hit the Doomsday double stomp for the win here. So our winners were the Garbage Daddies. Again, I feel like these reviews are short, but the match was short, only 6 minutes and 44 seconds.
I think it was another way to give those Yoshi and Yuki another match in GCW, showcase also, like I said, their non-violent side, but also I think to get Cole that keep on showing that ring, get that thought in people's minds for later in the show, and also build momentum for what's possibly next for Garbage Daddies, but at least Cole as the brass ring holder. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And anytime to see Alec Price and Cole Radrick, Garbage Daddies on my screen, I'm always leaving happy.
I also want to go back to something before we go to the next match. I forgot to mention that Mance got a hold of me and said that he's going to talk to the general manager about Rena. Who knows what that means?
I sent him my list of complaints too. It's the Jericho list of 1,001 complaints instead of holds.
Yeah, this era is very interesting. We'll see how it goes.
It's fun already, I can tell you that much.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Our fourth matchup of Cage of Survival 3 is a death match, as Big Effin' Joe goes against Tremont, and yeah, my hat hit my microphone there because I can't speak. I was kind of hoping a little bit more from this match, just because I've been wanting to see these two kind of go at it in a deathmatch setting, and this was kind of felt like it was the spotlight match for COS, where you could have this match be a really good showcase match that doesn't have to have TOS involved. they delivered in the short time. We got a lot of violence in that short amount of time, a lot of blood, but I was hoping a little bit more from these two, as they're both kind of ones I enjoy watching in the deathmatch scene. But overall, they did a good for a shorter period of time. They did a good, quick little violence to mesh well with how the card played out, with the violence at the beginning and the unpredictableness at the end.
I can tell I did my notes on 2 different days, because my first note on this match was big fucking Joe chance. Listen to those fans. That's a champion, a 3-time champion. I think he would carry the GCW name. Funny. So yeah, it's good I was on the same page the next day too. Tremont starts hot with a tube bundle to Joe's head. He turns it into a light tube fight. Tremont has blood flowing very quickly. He's then slicing Joe's head with a grilling fork, and then he just keeps going to every side and showing people. It's like the pizza cutter spot for Nick Gage. This is maybe Tremont's new thing now. Joe fish hooks Tremont, then comes the gusset plate. Joe puts it on Matt's head and hits it with a fucking chair. Oh my God. When the gusset falls off his head, he starts dripping like candle wax down his head. And instead of being hurt, Matt got fired up instead. In comes a door with a cross of light tubes. Matt puts Joe through the door and covers for 3. In a quick 6-minute match, Matt Tremont is our winner. Yeah, people at my house, you actually could hear "oh" out loud when he hit that gusset plate with a chair on top of Matt's head, because it was just instant blood. I mean, it was a hell of a spot. That takes guts.
Man, after seeing, I forgot what's his name. I think it might have been Kobayashi, when I think it was like when me and you were watching, like when the ZZW, like them trying to like pluck the gusset plate out of his head and like pull it, and you can see everything. Yeah, when I saw that chair shot, I was like, oh my, like that's what I went to. I'm like, good luck cutting that shit out later. Like that ain't gonna come out.
Yeah, dude, that thing is insane. I can't remember what the name of that weapon is. It's a little metal piece with the, yeah, I wish I could remember what that thing is called. Oh, well.
Kind of reminds me of a gusset plate, but yeah, it's like more circular.
Yeah. So Cardona then walks to the ring. He's bitching at someone for having a vape pen. It just so happens to be our listener, Kev. Thank you so much for being a dick back to Matt. Yeah, nice gas cloud in the face. I thought that was funny as hell. But Cardona gets in the ring. He lays down the rules, and they are basic gauntlet rules. He's catching us up on GCW, as far as I know, their first gauntlet match. So
yeah, I can't remember another gauntlet match in GCW.
I can't. But that's it, man. We're all set up and ready to roll for our main event,
which is for the GCW world title, as it is the gauntlet of survival now. And I don't want to go over should we go over all the names, or no? We'll get through all the names as we go through we'll go through
surprise them.
Yes, we'll keep the surprise going. We'll go in the order of the entrance and how they came out.
Oh boy. All right. So one thing that you and I talked about, Brent, before we start here, this 48.5-minute match felt like 20 minutes or less. It was just nothing but excitement beginning to end.
It's one of those times, like, it feels short, but it feels so long too when you think about everything that happened in that short amount of time. It's a good feeling to have as a wrestling fan. It's not one of those ones like, oh my God, this is 48 minutes. Let's end this shit. This one just felt like what just happened, and that was an hour of my life is gone. Like, let's do that back, please, because that, like, this was awesome. This is gonna be fun to talk about here.
All right, so here we go. Casey and Murdoch start this whole thing out. Casey gets the jump on Murdoch with a gusset-covered baseball bat to the head. Eventually, Casey gets it pushed into her head too. So they're both bleeding at this point. She's calling for a door, and SDL almost went and got it for her. I don't know if you saw this or not, Brant, but Casey was like, door, and no one was helping her. So Steph DeLander actually got up from her seat at the side on that table and was like, fuck it, I'll go get it for you. Jeez.
I loved seeing them out there and doing the commentary, but they actually provided a lot to the gauntlet, I think, as well, just being as side pieces off to the side. I think they added a lot of emotion to this match as well.
Oh, yeah, they were actors doing their part down there, and they did a damn good job, too. Casey eats a pile driver through the door for the pin. In only 4.5 minutes, John Wayne Murdoch has beat Casey Catal. Our next competitor one called Manders. He was out next. I love Manders versus Murdoch. Two country tough big guys going at it. Man, it sounds like you kind of feel the same way, huh?
I was like, yeah, we could run this into a program as well, like this, to give Manders something and going on. Him and John Wayne would have a fun series of matches. And they, when it needs to be, they could get violent, but when it doesn't need to be, they could still get violent without all the fuckery going on with it.
Well, I mean, Manders has went ultra violent before. It's a possibility. Yep. I know he maybe doesn't want to, but he's got the fortitude to do it. So, you know, maybe. Yeah. So Manders ate a nasty chair shot. Murdoch answered back the same. Both sit down and decide to start punching it out. And then Manders gets up, says, fuck this, and delivers another chair shot to the head. Murdoch gets put through a door, and fans are somehow booing Manders. But I think it's because this is deathmatch territory, and we want to see Murdoch win. So Murdoch delivers a brainbuster onto broken wood pieces for 3. So in 7.5 minutes, which is the 12-minute mark of the entire show or entire match, John Wayne Murdoch beat one called Manders. Then came some really fun music. We have some Guns N' Roses playing. Microman is out next. Micro is biting John's ass. I'm wondering, should that be illegal? You know, I'm just wondering because, okay, so here's what I've seen. Right? Micro does it. Little Schlack bites ass. Remember he bit Cole's ass?
Who's Little Schlack?
You know, the Mexican guy that came out that we said just
looked like yeah. I remember now.
El Schlacko or whatever we called him. Yeah, they really like biting ass in Mexico. I'm wondering if it's like legal there or something. By the way, I asked Cole about that. That spot was not planned. He got flipped and bit. Yeah. So he wasn't. I mean, he was lucky. He nared that ass real nice and clean before he came out. Yeah. So Micro got hit with a nasty chair shot. He rolls Murdoch into a small package for 3, and Microman beat John Wayne Murdoch in less than 3.5 minutes. So here goes the next part. Shane Mercer comes out. Now, tell me Micro isn't going to get tossed. That's what I was really thinking here. The next thought I was thinking was Mercer sent here by Blake Christian. I don't know how many people even thought that might be possible. His hired gun.
That's where I went to. I was happy to see Mercer, but my first thought was like, yeah, Blake sent him. Storyline, you could tell. Blake sent him to get the belt back, to hold on to it till Blake gets back, and then he could defend it again. Like, I actually got that little bit of hope in my mind. I'm like, let's play that out and still keep the belt on Blake and piss these Atlantic City fans off even more.
Well, I was laughing how the fans knew Mercer so well that before he got to the ring, they're already chanting over here, trying to figure out where they're going to toss Micro. There's no Micro tossing at GCW. So Mercer was choking Micro and slamming him against the mat. Mercer's actions were somewhat abusive towards Micro, garnering him a lot of heat. Micro then hit a 619 followed by a DDT. Well, that wasn't enough because Mercer hit a crazy moonsault and battery for 3. Shane Mercer beat Microman.
With the micro salt and battery.
Oh, is that what they called it?
That's what he called it. Yeah. He's like micro salt and battery. I loved it. I thought he was gonna I was scared he'd way over rotate and almost land on his ass and do a full on rotation because the Microman's so small and he's used to doing it with people like Tankman size. So I got a little worried on that, but I was still happy to see Mercer in there. Microman got his moment in there, got a little pop. He got in there, which is deserved after the run he's been on in GCW as of late. I think you had him in your gauntlet, if I remember correctly from last week. So
yes,
you were off to a better record on that of picking the gauntlet members than I was.
Well, after Mercer picked up the win over Microman, Mercer was automatically on everyone's shit list for the rest of the show. You touch Micro, you're not going to be a good guy. I don't care if you come in with angel wings. You are the devil if you touch Micro. That's just how it is. People popped on Oliver's music. Jordan came out fast and hot, doing every bit of damage he could to Mercer in one big blast. Mercer with an impressive fall-away slam. Both men on the top turnbuckle. Jordan goes for a power bomb. Mercer flips out of it. He turns around and eats a super kick. Jordan attempts the clout cutter. Mercer turns it into a backbreaker, then a moonsault and battery, which that moonsault and battery was the one that had me going, whoa. Somehow Oliver rolled up Mercer for 3 and in 6 minutes, but at the 24.5-minute mark, Jordan Oliver beat Shane Mercer and advances to the next round. As this is going on, Mercer decides he's just going to stand up and keep beating on Jordan even after he's eliminated. Total heel bullshit. But we hear the music, and out next comes the diabolical Charles Mason. This is somebody you picked for the turn over the gauntlet, correct?
Yeah, I actually picked Jordan and Mason in the gauntlet. I actually kind of had Jordan coming out earlier because I thought he would be able to carry a lot more of the gauntlet if need be. But they, yeah, that's what I had up there. But you were reading.
Sorry.
No, it's cool. I would have loved to see that as well. Just like, I don't need no ropes. Let me just do it here. Yeah, Jordan Mason was one, and they killed it. I actually, now after you kind of go over everything, I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of blood feud going on with there. Give Mason some new talent to go after. Give Jordan a feud since he's back now, and give both of them some sort of purpose, since it seems like both of them don't have any right now. And I loved these interactions. Like, these two just killed it as young talents. That's where I went to, is let's have a feud.
I got a direction for Jordan, and I'm going to talk to you about it at the end. I have an idea. So we hear the music. Out comes the diabolical Charles Mason. There was a great camera angle. It was dead on. It was shot on his face. He has a stalking look to him, like a snake. And when your camera's looking dead on like that, you can really see it well. It looks like he's preying on a wounded opponent, which is exactly what was happening here with Jordan Oliver. Mason with an awesome hip toss into a Death Valley driver. Another good spot here was the Jordan super kick. Then Mason turning Jordan's clout cutter into a chokehold, which was all over Twitter as a quick video. A wounded Jordan was fighting with all the energy he had left, and you could see it. Jordan hits a clout cutter for 2 moments later, an acai moonsault. Mason spits water into Jordan's mouth and chokes him with the belt. By the way, Mason, imagine if that is wine or grape juice. Imagine the image of the choke and how amazing that would look if he had red or something like that coming down the face. Mason with a tombstone pile driver on Jordan for 3 at the 35.5-minute mark in an 11-minute match, which was excellent. Charles Mason pulled out the win. Fans are pissed. They weren't happy.
That was number 7. That's why I kind of forgot to say I was getting a little excited there when Jordan got past number 6 and now on to number 7. I was getting kind of hopeful for Jordan to win the belt there, but yeah. So Mason now he's as the 7th competitor. He's the last one standing in the gauntlet, and
on to our last competitor. Joey Janela's music hits. Cardona gets in the ring. He says he's a man of his word and added him to the gauntlet. If he doesn't come down to the ring, Charles Mason will become the new GCW world champion. And that's when fans really got mad. So, of course, in typical wrestling fashion, and only the way that Cardona could, he counts down to 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. He gets down to 1 and the bell rings. Nick Gage is out on behalf of Joey. Gage is fresh and pumped up. It took less than a minute for the pizza cutter to come out. Mason is cut up bad. Great selling. Unimaginable amounts of bleeding on Mason's side. Gage hits the choke breaker for 3. Nick Gage beats Charles Mason at the 39-minute mark in 3.5 minutes. He is our new champion. Fans rush to the ring, pounding on the mat. Cardona grabs a mic, says he's the general manager, and there's a new entrant all of a sudden. Broski Jimmy Lloyd. We knew this fuckery was going to happen. Fans have surrounded the ring for the last minutes of this saga. So it's kind of fun. We have a blood sport kind of thing going on where everybody's surrounding the ring. And yeah, so Nick Gage got fucked over. Everybody's angry. We knew that Jimmy Lloyd was going to be injected somehow.
I was actually happy. I was like, okay, as long as it's not Joey, I could see Nick Gage. I've said I wouldn't mind seeing him be the next champion if he could feud with somebody new. Mason being the one, I was like, I thought like obviously the show was over. I'm like, yes, give me Nick versus Mason. Mason's gonna come back and do something. Give me Nick versus Pero, Nick versus Holiday. Go through all the rich and powerful. Like we now have something that's new and fresh, and it's Nick Gage. And I'm glad to see him get the belt looking as good as he does now, which was I was excited. I was really excited. And then yeah, Broski Jimmy happened, and I got excited again just because I kind of predicted or kind of hoped for a couple months ago to see Jimmy Lloyd at the terminal, actually as a face though, not as little Broski Jimmy, but him kind of getting a cool moment and getting it in the terminal, but he got it in the opposite way as a heel in the AC, and I was happy at how it was playing out there. It was definitely got me on my toes, but I was happy with Broski being still injected into this never-ending gauntlet. It seemed like it might turn into.
Dude, this thing was exciting. So chairs and a table have entered the ring, Gage being smashed with chair shots. There are 2 tables now, both propped into their own corners. Nick hits a nasty face wash for 2. A door bridge has now been made. Gage connects with 2 nasty chair shots on Jimmy's head, both on the top turnbuckle. Gage hits the pile driver for 2 as Cardona pulled referee Perch out of the ring. He would have had the 3, but Cardona pulled him out. Perch turns around and SDL hits Gage with a light tube bundle when Perch isn't looking. Gage is primarily out on his feet. Jimmy hits radio silence. Gage amazingly kicks out at 2. Jimmy spears Gage through a door and follows up with radio silence for 3. Broski Jimmy beat Nick Gage for the championship at the 45-minute mark in only a 6-minute match. Fans are booing and mad. They start throwing shit in typical GCW fashion. I'm going to stop right here before I go further. Talk to me about this.
That is a good way to end it. We got a heel Jimmy being world champion at the end of COS in the terminal. Like I said, instead of getting boos, though, he's getting a bunch of shit thrown on him. That's how you end a COS. That is how you introduce a new heel champion, and that is how you piss off the fans while giving them a feel-good moment with Effie and a feel-good moment with Nick Gage winning the belt. You get the ultimate dastardly heel Jimmy leaving AC as the champion. I was happy. Great show. I was
You're
happy.
evil. You are evil. You're evil. You don't want Joey to win.
I just didn't want Joey to win.
Who did you want to win? Because I know you were saying like
I would have been cool with Mason. I would have been cool with Gage. I would have been cool with Jimmy. I was happy with all the. I honestly,
wow.
I think you could do a lot of other cool stuff with those ones. Then you can't do with Joey, as I was saying last time. I feel like Joey as a champion is not going to provide anything different outside of what Joey's providing now without the belt. He's just going to add the championship belt to it, but still nothing's going to change, and it's going to feel the same. Where I think if Mason, Jimmy, that provides new blood for the GCW world title. What the hell is going to happen with Mason? What the hell is going to happen with Broski with Cardona behind him? Nick Gage winning. Okay, now we get the fresh Nick Gage, who's going to be the new heel that goes and attacks GCW. I was excited for all these new possibilities going into after COS. I was happy. And yeah, as you were about to say, I will pop it up as you say it here, but Great One has a great comment that we absolutely loved as well.
What's that one here? Ah, yes, putting the copyright logo.
Jimmy
ending. So this was a very interesting ending. Gage hits a pile driver on Broski Jimmy and leaves because he's pissed off. Deathmatch royalty celebrates in ring. GCW copyright comes up for the night, and it looks like it was all going to end, but it's not. We got that WWE, the copyright, and then they play the CM Punk music. That's kind of what we got here. Joey Janela's music hits. Joey's badly injured, but he's okay to compete. You can see him come to the ring, grab tape out of his back pocket, and start taping up his wrist. It was really cool to see because you could see him kind of winding up the machine. He's walking through the crowd as everybody's cheering for him. You can see all the referees standing around with their hands in the air asking for him to please stop. Cardona's asking staff not to let him in the ring. Well, guess what? Joey's in the ring. He hits a double stomp to Jimmy's chest for 3. Joey Janela beat Broski Jimmy in 4 minutes flat. Now we're looking at the 48-49 minute mark. Our winner of the GCW World Title Gauntlet of Survival match and the new GCW World Champion, Joey Janela. I'll stop right here and let you talk, my friend.
I stood up out of this chair and fucking fist pumped it. And I was like, God damn it, they did it to me again. Why did they have to have Joey win it? I was so mad. You had a really cool ending. Why did you ruin it with Joey coming out? That's the most predictable shit ever. No, don't end it this way.
We're total opposites here, listeners. You know how this goes. So I love to hear his side of it because for me, yeah. All right. We'll just keep going here.
I got up. I did one of these things. I was like, no, losing my mind. Like, no, this is not how you end this show. This is after all those cool things that happened, you're going to still end it with the way that Joey's being predictable, winning the championship. God damn it.
So fans crowd the ring in support of their new GCW World Champion, Joey Janela. He finally has a title reign after all these years. Then Cole Radrick's music hits. He's got wet hair, a brass ring, and a wild look in his eyes. He hands his ring to referee Scarlett and automatically eats a spear from SDL. Joey still stands injured, but strong at this point. We'll keep going. Mance quietly sneaks into the ring behind Joey's back and delivers a heavy chair shot to Joey. Mance is cashing in his do or die Rumble opportunity, so the bell rings. And here we go to our final match of the night, a very quick GCW World Title match, Mance Warner versus Joey Janela. It's very simple. Mance hits an implant DDT for 3, turns him over for 3. Our winner here, Mance Warner. He celebrates with SDL, officially deathmatch royalty approved. I'm guessing because he was kissing on her. That's all. Somebody in that group approves of him.
Yeah, that's how you end it. See, I heard Cole's music. I was like, oh yeah. And then I did a double, oh yeah, Mance. I totally was so invested in everything. I did forget Mance coming out at the end. Like that's how invested I was. I forgot what I thought would happen hours ago, where I forgot all about Mance until I heard Cole's music with the brass ring, and I was like, oh, Mance is gonna come out, stab Cole, and take over his shot and use his to win. And I'm still happy with it. I'm glad to see Mance working with Cardona, SDL, and Broski Jimmy. Deathmatch royalty did now just get a doses of whoop ass added to him. And yeah, I'm glad to see Mance walking out of COS as a champion. It was I think months ago I kind of said it would be kind of cool to have all the GCW regulars take turns being the champion. You could have it being one of those championship scramble matches where 20 minutes you're the champion here for the next 5 minutes, and we kind of got something very similar in this match. A lot of people that I don't mind seeing and wouldn't mind seeing become GCW World Title holders did become it, even if it was for a second or two. It was a cool thing now to kind of have, and a very mind-boggling, plot-twisting turn to end the night, and I loved it. That is what makes GCW incredible, is its unpredictability, and I'm just now so excited of what could come from this Mance Warner title run and everybody else that was involved, even in the gauntlet, of what they have to say about everything.
Well, Joey did win the title officially.
That's fine. I said I wouldn't. I think even last week I said I don't mind if it's for 10 seconds. I'll be mad for 10 seconds, let Mance come out. And that's what happened. I'm cool with it. I can acknowledge Joey as my champion, but now is he done? Does he ever get another title shot now, since he did use his opportunity and he won and now he lost it?
He lost his opportunity with Cardona. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm still not against, Cardona accidentally finding out that he lost GM because he's a wrestler and then faking injury to go back to the GM position. Wouldn't be a surprise. And it'd be a nice swerve. Yeah. Little Kevin Nash comes out there with his leg broken in the, yeah.
No, I'm excited for what can be done. There's a lot of possibilities now. Like I said, I was way more excited of almost anybody other than Joey becoming champion after the way they had to do this.
Wow.
And I got my wish. I'm happy. Like, this is no offense to Joey. Like, Joey is the heartbeat and soul of GCW. I just don't see what he would do as a champion that he can't do now currently without the champion, other than having it be for the world championship. He can still have his cool
Gotcha.
matches with all these cool names that he's never wrestled before, and have these 20-minute wars, clinics, and masterpieces going on. You just don't have to have the world title involved.
We ain't gonna get into this.
No,
I
we
look at
do
it
that
this way. I look at it this way because I agree with you. Does he need the title? No. I only say, should he get one title run in his career though for what he's put into GCW? Yeah. Is it right now? I'm guessing not right now. But is there a time? Probably when he's healed. That's
agree.
probably the best way to put it.
And if Joey and Mance somehow have some sort of feud, I'm for it. Let's see how this plays out now. Another
Right,
two names
rock and roll.
struggling for the control of GCW. I'm all for this Joey chase more than I was for the Blake one. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just nice to see fresh ideas. How about that? How about a match with purpose? Isn't it nice to see a match with purpose? That's, you know what I mean? Like that's what these storylines bring to it. And I think sometimes not sometimes, but there were times where GCW may have been missing that. How do I say that? I say that because we used to have fans go to the show, especially newer ones, and they'd be like, yeah, I watched this amazing show, but I can't tell you or remember what I saw. Like it was all a blur. Well, storylines kind of help cut that up into chapters. So it's easier for you. If there's no accompanying story, then it's just this wrestler meets this wrestler, they go. Then match 2, this wrestler meets. Yeah. So a lot more meaning has come from these storylines. And again, I just hope a lot of the younger wrestlers are inspired by this. And I hope that there are at least a couple wrestlers in the GCW atmosphere that are hopefully planning with each other right now what they could possibly do to get the attention of the fans. Why the hell not? Especially after watching that 4-way. Where was that at? The 4-way here.
Alec, Jordan, Marcus, and
yes.
Cole.
Yeah, dude, future looks bright. Right there should say enough. And gosh, I'm so sorry. I went at a loss of words for a minute, but it's just one of these things where the future looks good. In 5 years, I'd like to see where we sit. I really want to see where we sit. But the promos, the pre-tapes, things like that, I think those are important steps forward and they need to be taken. To say that you're a wonderful meal, but you're missing the vegetables makes no sense. So it only makes sense if we work on promos. It only makes sense if we work on some of these things. And they've added to the overall product by far. So even if it's under the guise of Matt Cardona and he's going to usher in all these changes, you know what? Try all your new ideas now. Do it now. If they suck, blame Cardona. We've talked about this before. If they suck, blame Cardona. If they work, incorporate them. Not a big deal. Now's a great time. Here we are again, where we took Cardona's mishap and turned it into a golden opportunity. And I feel that this could really, I think Matt's starting to see that he could be a wonderful general manager. And I think that GCW is seeing that there are some other ways to do things. And I feel like they may be giving him the reins a little bit to do that more than usual. I don't know. That's the part where I don't know who's mixed into what that much, but I do know that the overall product has definitely improved, and it shows in these ratings from the cage match fans, especially.
I will take, like I said, that this Cage of Survival, that ending, I felt old school GCW. I felt I got to see all the regulars. I sit there and root for and cheer for week after week, show after show. They're fighting for the most prestigious title in the company. They're fighting for it. Like Mercer versus Jordan was awesome. Like that was a cool little match they had. Jordan versus Mason, same thing. I want to see that, and like the stories incorporating the social media with that little Joey video. I'm all for it. I've been loving everything they've been doing. The video packages. I have, other than just like my own personal booking of championships, I have not really had much to complain about in GCW, and they've been hitting it. And like I said, with this Cardona era, if that, as you said, provides us the off-screen footages, these little promos that we don't see on the screen in front of us at the show, but we get to see it on social media somehow. I think that does a lot and goes far in making new fans get invested into the product. Getting old fans invested in the product, myself included.
Look, I really do think it's funny, but at some point it would be cool to have a joint effort where in one weekend GCW goes, look, fans, everybody get one new person to sit down on the couch with you, or get somebody to come to the show with you and check this out, because you'd be surprised how many people might like it if they just know that it's available to them to watch. You know me, we have family members that come to these shows, and that's because at one point they were sitting on my couch when I was watching these shows. So one of my takes here towards the end of the main event, a lot of Spitfire action in those last 10 minutes. Because everything was going so quick live, I was having a hard time taking everything in, because in my head was like, did Matt not count to 0 on the 10 count? Because here comes Joey. Like, that was one of my questions. Did the bell ring on the Cole match? Is that happening? That was another one. And also another match is starting instead. So does Cole still have the brass ring? Those were great questions I had. Another question, why do I smell piss? I answered that question obviously. That was an easy one. But okay, so it's getting late. That one almost passed by you there. Yeah, so when Joey came out, I went, oh shit, wait, Cardona didn't count to 0. He got to 1. He didn't finish to 0. So I could see there where maybe that was that's how Janela got out there. I had to get a hold of Cole and ask him, do you still have the brass ring today? Because I didn't know. I was still kind of confused about it. He says, yes, he does have the brass ring. So listeners who didn't know, now you do know. Cole still has his brass ring. He's still able to challenge. The bell never rang, so it never officially went off. That's worth knowing. So just letting you know that if there's a chance to use that in the tag division, that brass ring is still available to be used, and the Garbage Daddies are still one step away from challenging for the tag team titles, which make me smile through and through. Like I said, ever since we didn't have East West anymore, this has been a nice addition as a young team.
Yeah.
A young face team.
Yep.
So also a lot of effort was put in by Joey to go out there and perform by any means necessary. His participation mattered here. He showed up for the job and did his part to further the storyline. I do think Joey's time will come. This is Joey's second near miss in the recent future here. I'm unsure where he goes from here. Maybe some time off to heal is beneficial. I do think it's been a long time coming. I've been hearing him complain about his back for years now. So, I mean, what a terrible time to have this issue too. Right when the belt is starting to fall into his direction. But again, that can change at any time. A great job by every player involved who bled for the story. It wasn't just Mance and Effie. All the people around them were involved also. I know we spoke about that earlier. Yeah, give credit to Cole, give credit to Alec Price, Ali, all of those who bled for the storyline. Fantastic job. Let's see what else here I have in my notes. I have here that Effie's friends suffered in this story, and I'm thinking each one will be challenging Mance for the GCW world title individually. However, I still feel all roads will lead back to Effie in the long run. I'm looking at some point a major show, Effie versus Mance for the world title. I feel, again, we talked about this, storylines do matter. Effie and Mance provided us with an engaging story that brought in new viewers and fresh excitement for the product, offering newer wrestlers a blueprint for success if they wish to use it. I wanted to also write here, Mance Warner understands what being a champion means, and he knows what he wants out of his run. I'm sure his goals are crystal clear in his head. This isn't the end of anything. We just finished a chapter. I do believe more is coming. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I could see a lot more, like Cardona, little changes here and there. Mance Warner using his own little power now as champion to enforce some of these changes. I'm excited to see what Mance kind of does, if he stays along with the Cardona stuff and kind of nitpicking a lot of the stuff, or if he's going to kind of mud show it all up and kind of get GCW back to the mud show ways that it used to be. I don't know. Like, I feel like that Cardona's shooting for more sports entertainment. Mance Warner, his character and everything, is always shooting for more old school style. So I'm interested to see how those two kind of play out on TV, and if they mesh well together, or if they seem to go at it quite a bit. I don't know. Like Cardona versus Mance Warner is going to be an interesting pairing to see play out over these next couple shows.
Well, as I said before, now's the time for growth. Cardona can be, the Trojan horse for a lot of that stuff. And after we just put on a show with the highest ratings in 3 years from GCW, from cage match fans, that says something. That says a lot. So we'll see where all that goes. I did notice the next day, that was on Monday, Cardona released pics of the champ together with the Cardona royal family. I'm guessing then it looks like that Mance is part of the Cardona royal family now. Is that how that's going to go?
I think it
What do you
needed to
think?
be. You can't keep on keeping Mance away from SDL and Cardona. I actually am glad they found some way to kind of interweave these two together and put them together, because they just kind of go along, just not because they're like real relationship, but kind of what they're both providing and want to see change into of GCW. They want to see it changed, but I want to see whose vision comes through in this change.
Well, that's a great question. There are plans. I just can't wait to see how they unfold. I have no idea right now where all this is going to land, and I wish I did. But all I know is I'm happy that Cole still has his brass ring, because that's the one thing for me that really mattered here. I need some hope that there is a face challenging a champion soon. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just need that hope.
I want them to actually build somebody up instead of just throwing Mance Warner random names. I would like to see another feud kickstart right away. Go into another feud right now. Keep the momentum going, as you said. Everything worked out.
Who do you want? Who do you want in that feud? Talk to me. That sounds good. That's a good one.
I would say Manders. I would like right now. If it
Okay.
fits in, and sort of like, I know Joey's kind of in there and getting a title shot, but I can see Manders kind of being a long part of that. It's like, hey, like, it wasn't just Effie that you fucked over, is me now too, and now help elevate him. And that, like, the loss won't hurt Manders, but the build to becoming a champion and getting some momentum, and him having the marquee matchup of going against Manders for a world title champion will rub Manders way good, and it won't hurt him in any way, and it won't hurt Manson anyway. And I think it's just a natural fit into a first contender for the title, and it makes sense for both of them.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see how this goes. I do like that Manders is still getting written well onto GCW TV, we'll say, especially after he's lost his partner in Mance, and it's such a strong partner too. But Manders is 100% capable. He's a large boy. He always shows up for the job. So I really do appreciate that he's being put into positions now with a little more trust. And every time he does, he delivers a quality performance. So I don't know, but I really do wish there would have been more between Manders and Mance, just because, as I'll be honest with you, they were like brothers. I feel like one match was a little too little. Maybe something else can start up there again.
That's why I feel like it just makes sense. Like, it gives, if there's stories already there, you could continue that going. The history is definitely there. Like, there's a lot, like, yeah, there's a lot they could still do with Manders that I think for one of these first title, if they are going to have a quote unquote feud, even though the first title defense is already set, which I hate that stuff too. Like, I get why they do it, but I've also pitched in the past of, announce one, you don't need to announce 4 or 5 or 2 even, because then now the second one's could be blown up, and now you kind of fucked up a future booking for a possible fan like me looking forward to a possible title match, and now it doesn't get to happen because of what happened the night before.
All right, so you're ready for my idea. I just wanted your opinion on this. I want to put Jordan Oliver in the Deathmatch Royalty family. What's your thoughts on putting him in as like a gunner?
I think you would have to find someone else to do it, so that way they could go after the tag belts. So that way the Cardona royal family could hold all the belts. So that Vance being world champion, throw Jimmy out there chasing the ultraviolet. SDL could win it from Maki and be extreme champion, and then get Jordan and a tag partner, because Cardona keeps on tweeting out positive stuff about Jordan. I would like to see that. I could see Myron Reed fitting in, bringing Justice in somehow to the royal family and show like, hey, look what I've done to Jimmy. Jimmy went from this nobody working these scramble matches like how you two are, and now he's got a sense of purpose, and look how much he's on these shows. Come join my family. Look what I could do for you, Jordan and Myron. Like, that's the only way I would get Jordan involved. Like, I think if they do add anybody, it needs to be a tag team for that specific kind of reason. I think to kind of hold all the gold in GCW is what I would kind of envision that.
Who would you put with Jordo?
Myron. I
I'm
think
so sorry. I must have heard you wrong. You did
No, you're
say
good.
that.
I think the easy route is throw Mason, Perro, and Holiday. Throw the rich and powerful with the Royal Cardona family, and have them be the tag champs and somehow, some way. And that even adds more menacing to that group. And then as it slowly starts to play out, dissolve it. I think you could do a lot of fun stuff with those two teams as well.
If it wasn't for the strip, I would have considered Blake Christian in Deathmatch Royalty. They would have been in complete cahoots from the beginning without any extra booking.
And see, that's another thing that I know Great One brought up last week too, why it doesn't make sense is they have a history of working together to help each other. So Cardona doing this, I think he should have played more into, I really don't want to do this, Blake. I love you. Like, you're my boy. Or like, I wish they would have played into that kind of feeling, because they do have a history going. And Blake would be a nice, easy fit into that Cardona family as well. Blake and Jordan as a tag team would be a fun and interesting tag team as well. I don't know that I don't see Jordan kind of fitting in. I think Rich and Mason could get a nice rub off of Cardona right now more than anybody as a heel, I think, because then you'd have to turn Jordan completely heel.
Okay, so you want to know how I got with the Jordan heel thing? That promo that he cut for 2 minutes earlier today?
I didn't see it today. I know, like, I saw one,
was it
like,
yesterday?
of him. I think it was one yesterday of him, like, I don't have it no more. What's going
Yeah,
on?
yeah.
Like, it's
I
one of
thought
those
that
like
was
purpose ones.
I thought that was going to be it. I thought, well, maybe is a time for him to say, fuck it. You know, I've done it. I've tried it this way. Now I need to try it this way.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I wouldn't want to bring him in as a singles. Like I said, like, if you bring him as a tag team to go after the tag team belts, then I could see it working out. I think anybody that joins next, that's kind of where they need to go, unless they, like, I don't see them inviting in just one person. I don't know though.
If there was a female division, I'd see where they would pick up Bane right now and throw her in as an imposing female. Oh, okay. See, this is where it's getting late, my friend. No, you know, here's the thing with SDL too, man. She's really grown into that part so well that when you see her now, she fully knows exactly what she's doing, how she's doing it. I mean, she's got her part down pat. If you go and watch her first show doing this job versus now, you'll see a vast difference. She looked so unsure of herself, and now she looks like total confidence out there.
Yep, I agree.
All right. Let's see here if there was anything else I wanted to mention. That was primarily it. I just thought it would be funny to have Jordo Snap, one of your favorites, and they look at him as being the young gunner that they always send out there to do the, you know, the young hopeful. No, the young, you know what I mean? The young star, the one who goes out there and, you know, I don't know. I don't have a better way to put it. They can't get Cole. They're not getting Cole. They're not getting the garbage daddies. That would take that would destroy their characters. Well, hold on. That's an idea. Alec could fuck over Cole.
Be like, hey, you took all the shine from the garbage daddies. You forgot all about me, kind of thing.
It's possible.
Let me go to somebody who actually will value me and trust me. Go to Cardona.
Mm-hmm. And they both decide to, you know, him and Jordan work together, and boom, they're deathmatch royalty, which would be a very big threat to the tag team division.
I just see at one point them holding all the belts up in the air and ending the show with them deathmatch royalty standing in the middle.
Yeah.
Of everyone.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for Roman Reigns to come out, and they can all just do this.
Yep.
I'm waiting for it.
I would see it. Like, it gets now, as long as they build up people to go challenge for instead of throwing random people in there, I think you can now get invested into a GCW fighting power back from the Cardona group.
And I'm thinking if this enriches and grows the wrestlers as a whole, also, that would be fantastic. Just like the side effect of what Cardona's done with Jimmy has made Jimmy so much better than he was 3 months ago. That
like
promo
I said,
work,
you got him away from the scrambles to now showing up for 45 minutes and at the beginning of the show as well. Like, he's all over the card.
I feel like, I don't know who it was, whether it was Brad or Cardona or who, but somebody said, you know, Jimmy's not using his fullest capabilities and needs to be stretched. And whoever made that decision did wonders for Jimmy's career. He's so much better than he was, like I said, a couple months ago, on promos, on in-ring work. It's there. And I'd like to see him step back in a ring for death matches again. I mean, like really step back in. It's been a while. It's been quite a while. So what do we got down here? Great one said, I feel like Cole and Alec are separating. It's over them disagreeing on how the brass ring should be used. Now that's a great way to write a storyline in. That really could work. Cole's like, I want to do this. And Alex like, I don't want to do that. And they get into a little argument. And Cole's like, look, this is my fucking ring. You're lucky you're getting a chance to use it too. And that could be. I'll tell you what, GCW fans are heavily invested in the young faces for sure. You can see that. So any drama between those can really be an issue and would really touch on the hearts of the fans.
And I think they just need to build them up so that way they could get that investment from all these fan favorites even more, especially for a world title shot or a big story that's going to be happening in GCW that could easily be told right now.
All we know right now is it's a big exhale. Next weekend is going to be extremely busy. So I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of building going on here. This next weekend, do you want to go to the upcoming shows kind of thing? Or was there anything else you were thinking of off the top of your head?
No, just
Sweet.
COS was
all right.
It
so
just
we're towards
the
end.
feeling back. That's all.
What's that?
Sorry, I just brought the feeling back of being a GCW fan of watching those old shows. I felt like I watched one of those ending cliffhanger shows where what the hell is going to happen next week on GCW, where that I haven't felt like that in a while since I first started watching GCW, to be honest with you. So those 3 years of
Moxley times, it feels like that Moxley thick kind of, the old RSP kind of, like when the storylines were thick and you had engagement, mental, like emotional engagement in the story. This is what we're missing, and we're getting it back now. I feel like Cardona's ushering that in, or he's being allowed to usher that in. What do we got here by Kev, the cloud blower on Cardona? I want to see a 4-way for the title. Kev, okay, what do we got? He has Joe, Effie, and a wild card. Interesting thought there. Joe, Effie, wild card. Ooh. I want to know who that 4th is, if you can think of one, Kev.
Blake or
Gage. That would be Blake or Gage. Okay, so, whoa. Well, I'll tell you what. Right now, that's 4 regulars in the ring right there. That would make for an amazing show.
That's one of that pick that I was picking a regular.
They each have their own unique history, so not against that whatsoever. All right, so. Let me go ahead and kind of run down these upcoming shows here. And if there's anything that catches you, let me know.
I got some after the first one.
Okay, perfect. All right. So the first show that's going to be going on, well, let's not bullshit just for a second here. There are no shows this upcoming weekend. When there are no shows on that weekend, our following show has no show to review. So what we do is we generally have an interview on. We announced it earlier in the show. For those who just came on, our guest for the June 11th show next Tuesday will be GCW senior referee Adam Galt. He's going to be coming on here. And again, if you've never had a chance to listen to Adam Galt talk, you are really missing out. The guy is so smart. He knows his stuff. And if you're one of those smart fans or somebody who really likes the inner workings of how wrestling companies work, he's going to be the one that you want to listen to. His job is constantly to not speak. This is going to be a time where you get to finally hear the man who really does so much hard work for GCW, up to and including seating you in your proper area. So we're really excited to have him. I have a lot of questions that I'm starting to work on. So we're really looking forward to that one a lot. So let me go ahead into our upcoming show. Friday, June 14th. It's GCW Lights Out 2024 from the Quarry in Golden, Colorado. We have appearances by Joey Janela, Billy Stark, Zilla Fatu, and Effie. First match announced, Danhausen versus Broski Jimmy. Our second match announced, Ali Catch versus Man Like Derice. Third match announced, Nick Gage versus Oren Veit.
Welcome back.
Wow.
That's a good one. I got happy for that one. That was a name that piped me up there and got me excited for Ultra Violence future in GCW.
Ooh. We'll talk about that one in a second, maybe. And then the last one here will be the GCW World Championship match between Mance Warner and Jordan Oliver. Yeah, you know what, Oren Veit, welcome back. I'm with you there. It has been quite a while. I think we've seen him on JCW TV, right? Not GCW.
I don't think we've seen him since the Cole match.
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's one. If it wasn't so late, I'd say we definitely look that one up. But dude, it's been a while. And also, I'd like to see those two maybe have a rematch again. It's hard to top what you did, but it'd be cool to have a rematch between the two. Let's see here. And then Mance Warner and Jordan Oliver too. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, my thing there is I like how it's kind of a call back to when Jordan first won the JCW title. His first defense was against Mance. So I kind of like how Mance's first defense is against Jordan here. Jordan makes sense. I agree, I like it, but like I said, without any sort of buildup, I don't have any investment. Jordan's going to lose next. Now we got Mance versus Joey. Like I'm already moving, like no investment into that title match because he's going to lose. Like if you build up contenders and build, like get the fans to invest a possibility of a title change or a contender possibly winning the belt. Like, I don't know, like the building up is very important to what I think wrestling is to get, because it gets fans invested. And me being probably one of the biggest Jordan fans, I'm not invested for this world title belt because I already know what's going to happen. So as a fan, immediately, I'm not even happy about it. Like it's going to be a match where they're going to book out and how they're going to, Joey's going to somehow come out because Joey gets it in 2 days after Jordan. So I that's where I hate the future booking of as well with the world champions, because now it ruins what's hasn't happened yet, but it also has the possibility of ruining what could happen that night of not being a title match no more. So right away, I'm already questioning it, but at least it's, as you made a mention, we're going to get real competitors and real challengers. We're not getting, no offense here, we're not getting an Adam Priest getting a shot at the GCW world title shot. Like Adam Priest is great and in his local territory, but in GCW, he hasn't earned it. Where Jordan, he's earned it. I could defend him getting a title shot. Joey, obviously I could defend him getting a title shot. It makes sense to me, but as a fan, I'm not excited for Jordan versus Mance just because I think I know what's going to happen already. So I'm like,
so
I don't know.
So what would it take for you? Do you feel that maybe 2 to 4 weeks of build storyline wise would make it feel like in your head it's more of a
show or two? You could do it in a weekend. Yeah, you could set it up a week beforehand. Even like, I don't know, like with this, I wouldn't have even put a title shot on this early until you build up a competitor. Let Mance recover from COS, tell that story, and he's like, "Fuck this! I don't want to defend this title. Look what I had to go through to get it. It's going to be on my time. Damn it! Now I got Cardona here, so like." I will defend this when I need to, not right away 2 weeks later and two back in almost consecutive nights. I would have him take a break and build up a challenger in that meantime. And you could build up a Jordan. If Joey's healthy, build him back up and have like, so now you got a new champion. Now you can have Jordan go against a Mason, #1 contendership match. Boom, Jordan wins. Okay. Now Jordan makes sense as a challenger where no other title defenses have been in. Mance Warner is invested in now just Jordan. Who knows what could happen then? Like, I liked building up content. Like, that was my whole thing with Blake's title run. It just, you didn't build anybody up. And I think as a face, as we were talking about Cole and Alec, you built these people up to have the fans built like eager now to see what's going to happen with the brass ring. Build up a challenger, see what's going to happen in the championship match, especially as a heel champion. You need to build up these faces. As a heel champion, you can, or as a heel challenging a face as a champion, you could always just boom, shock win and go from there. As a face, I think it's a lot harder to build, to make a face champion believable without any build at all.
So right now we have a stable. Deathmatch Royalty is a stable, which means that should Effie start a stable? I mean, they technically they are. Here's what got me. Jordan, I don't think Jordan ever came out to help Effie.
Dude, Jordan, because Jordan never had a match with Mance. Yeah, because he was gone. So all those people like had matches with Mance, and that's why I thought it was cool they all came out, because they all were directly in, as you said, they spilt blood for Effie, so they deserved. Like that's where even Jordan first. Like, it's cool callback, but even then, like I said, as a first challenger, I would have preferred a build up and get, instead of something just to have something. I don't know.
It's your boy. You know how it goes. Cardona's here. We're going to have some changes anyway. I have a feeling that they're sniffing in the direction of where you want to go with the storyline situation. I think
I'm hoping,
yeah, but remain hopeful because you know what I mean. It's things are a changing over at GCW in many different ways, and with the success of this recent story and the successful shows that they've had wrapped around other long-term stories, I would think it's only smart that GCW from here forward focuses on taking some of their regular GCW people and putting them in some form of a story to give them some form of a direction. Our fans are intelligent fans, and we do need something to chew on every now and then. If you just give us a match, that's great. But if you give us meaning, that really means something. So that little bit of effort of sitting by yourself when you're bored in the car and maybe giving yourself a 2-3 match kind of story, go for it. What's the harm at this point? Because otherwise you're just going to go out, have a meaningless match. It goes nowhere. It doesn't matter who wins, doesn't matter who loses, as long as we're happy. You know, we're better than that now.
And that's why I've always kind of said with our regulars, they should always be in some sort of program or feud because you're using them on a regular basis. I love these highlight once in a while, once in a lifetime cards. Or matches. You could still throw those on every once in a while providing a story and a reason for people to get invested. Like, I wouldn't mind having Speedball go against like a random person, but then also being a feud in GCW. Like, I think those, like, you can't just always do these one-on-one matches that are great and fan friendly. Like, they have their spots on the cards, and ultimately what's going to get the fans invested week to week is getting us a reason to watch and people to go on and boo and go on and cheer and stuff like that. So I'm hopeful that's what's happening. But I think, like I said, just for Mance's first defense against Jordan, I'm not, as a Jordan fan, it's going to be a good match. I'm excited to see him get that spotlight, but I'm not. There's zero thing in me that he's going to win there. So, and I don't think what they could possibly do is not going to blow my mind if Jordan. And what they could do in this match is, I just don't see anything positive happening for me as a Jordan fan. So I'm hoping that whoever the next contender they do build up, they give a purpose and a reason of why we should be invested in him challenging Mance for the title.
If I was in Oliver's shoes and I was an opportunist right now, I'd be talking mad shit over social media to Mance all the way into this show on that next Sunday. Sell it.
I could see this Mason. This is maybe where Mason gets paid off by Matt and Mance to protect the belt, and then now Mason beats up Jordan to protect Mance. And like, we haven't even talked. Who are these two masked people?
I honestly still feel those must have been like camera crew or something, because those are some little guys.
No, but I'm just saying, like, but who are they? Like, why?
It's like Joe Lando and
like, that's another thing. Like, I don't think anybody's talking
Marco
about
Stunt and Joe Lando.
But who sent them?
Yeah,
like, that's another thing. Like, who's?
Well, I think it's implied Cardona did that to soften up Joey.
But like, what are they? Just random people? Are they a new tag team that could help Mance out? This is where I'm going.
Oh with shit! Is it a new tag team? That would be amazing. That'd be a great way to get a new tag team in.
Play it in with Mason versus Jordan. Mason comes out, fucks Jordan in this match, and turns out he's one of these masked people, and that's why he attacked Jordan so hard in that match too. Like, Rich and Powerful joining them could be awesome. And then now if we get like some Mason Jordan, I think could have a good feud without any belts attached to it, but a good blood feud to elevate both of them, because I think they're both right at that tier that's just below world title, but could be like with the right sort of pushing and promoting and momentum, could be strong contenders for world champions.
Well, if the bat shots were better, because obviously the shots to the body were a little off, I would have maybe thought the Bollywood boys, because number one, they could go face or heel, but number two, they show the fuck up and perform. What a great place to set them would be the Bollywood boys right there. And then Matt goes, I got a team. You know what? They're challenging for the title tonight. And then boom. What do we got?
No. Who hired them? That's the question. Who hired the goons? That's where I'm at right now. It's like, what? Like, I feel like that could be a big thing that, like, they could turn that into something. But like, okay, who hired the goons to send them in? Like, obviously Cardona, but then who are those goons? Who would Cardona send, and what is the purpose? Like for me, that's
We
like
could build
a
on
big
that.
question mark that I've actually kind of had since then. That I kind of felt like nobody else has talked about, and that could lead
I think
into
it's
future cool stuff.
I think it's Joe Lando and Marco Stunt from what I was seeing. It definitely
Bollywood
looked like.
Boys, I actually wouldn't mind seeing that if that gets him in GCW more.
Who's that?
Bollywood
Who's
Boys
that? Bangin'
actually makes sense
Matthews?
because
Oh.
Bollywood Boys, yeah.
Dude, they fucking deliver. I have to say that now. I think we've seen Bollywood once or twice.
A couple times, yeah.
Dude, they can freaking deliver. Fans in LA, especially, dude, they love them. Great one. I do have an idea. Cardona isn't a character I associate with wealth, but maybe a certain dude coming off his 90-day May.
Who just got released? That would make sense.
Are we talking? Well,
I like one name I
who are
haven't
you
seen.
thinking?
I want to see Elias, like Ezekiel. I want to see Elias.
Oh,
Like, whatever
yeah.
he's going by now. I forgot what he's going by. Elijah. I want to see Elijah in GCW. I love his character. Oh, Jinder Mahal. That's what I was kind of thinking of. That kind.
Yeah.
That you could have just had one. Like Jinder Mahal's the size of both of those two goons. But
Yeah.
yeah, Elijah's one I've been thinking. I think like with his character and him being the wanderer, he could just wander around to every promotion and do cool things and just show up. And I think he's like creative enough and talented in the ring that I said when he got released, that's one name big time I want to see in GCW. But that would be a cool little thing to get Jinder Mahal and the Bollywood Boys to kind of do something. This is the shit we get to talk about. No, we wouldn't be talking about if Joey was champion. This is where I'm going with all that bullshit with the Joey stuff. Like, there's a bunch of these cool things that we don't know what could happen and what's happening with it, but it could make a lot of sense in a cool way. Hopefully, down the line, that Cardona and his GM could tell us.
All right, so I'll go on to this second show. This is Saturday, June 15th, GCW's Hit 'em Up 2024 from the UCC in Los Angeles, California. On this show, scheduled to appear Nick Gage, Zilla Fatu, Megan Bain, and Bussy. Scheduled matches: Los Macizos versus the Stoner Bros. Stop right there. Los Macizos are back.
Thank God.
Give them the fucking titles back. Just seriously, put your boots down, set your titles down, walk out the door. Los Macizos, I want them back as the tag team champs. You and me need to argue this.
I was so happy when I saw them announced because I started to feel like how I felt with Nick Gage going into the Hammerstein show. I was like, how you got a Hammerstein show and no Nick Gage announcement? Like, and that was kind of like around the same time. Oh, Brett and him are really going at it and blah, blah, blah. Like, I felt like, oh my God, like we need Nick Gage. That's GCW. Then when he showed up, I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Like there is a wrestling God. Everything's all happy in GCW land. That's how I felt with the Macizos being announced versus Stoner Boys. Visa issues are cleared. Everyone's healthy. There is no issues as far as we know, but they're back in GCW. And I was so happy to see that because it felt like GCW was missing something. And Macizos.
The Macizos was fucking
that's
missing.
A lot of stuff that they could do with GCW. Yeah.
Also, Los Macizos against the Stoner Bros, dude. We were at the show. Stoner Bros are no fucking joke. Like they don't screw around. Those are some good sized boys too. So you're going to put them up against two Macizos that are, oh God, that could be a barn burner match of the night if they allow it to be. Maybe others don't see it, but trust me, I could see that being something special. The Stoner Bros are more than just a comedy act. And if you have a chance to ever talk to them or listen to them, they've got their shit together. They may be having fun out there, but they really do have their shit together as a team. They know exactly who they are. They know what they're capable of. And they're going to go against the Los Macizos team who are just as capable and know themselves just as well. But bro, Ciclope, Miedo, God, it's so nice to see you back. I have to still memorize their entrance music. I still don't know it yet. The Encantada or whatever their song. So, all right. Also on here, Jack Cartwheel versus Sydney. This is going to be a very interesting match. Viva Van versus Man Like Darius. They hopefully get to finally finish the story. Will Man Like Darius finally get ass in his face or not? I think that was the story. Yes. Or was he just supposed to find a cute girl and she happened to have her ass in his face? Which one is it?
I think the way he played it out is I think he had that one specific one he wanted.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. That's a man who knows what he wants. Our next match here, Danhausen versus Kylie Ray. Number one, nice to see Kylie Ray again, even if we just saw her a couple weeks ago, because she's a treat. And more Danhausen. I love it. I like that we're seeing more. And we talked about this last week also. We think Danhausen is not doing much with AEW. I think it's going to be more GCW now for Dan.
I think this match has one of those ones that we're going to talk about. Like this one has the chance to overshadow everything. I think I really am looking forward to what Kylie Ray and Danhausen could do during this match.
Also, I'm hoping we stick with the curse of Danhausen. Yeah, I just want to mention that again. I love evil Danhausen. I think the GCW fans do also.
I hope he tries to curse Kylie Ray, but it ends up turning Kylie into Murder Death Kylie, and it backfires on Danhausen.
Oh my God. That's fucking hilarious. He curses her, and it really curses her.
Like,
and she just
Murder Death Kylie. Yep. That's what I'm
Murder Death Kylie. Gosh. Yeah, I love her character, though. She comes out happy, and by the end, she just slowly devolves into, okay, so that's that. Yeah, gosh, that LA show is looking so good, and I'm not gonna make it. That hurts so bad because that show looks so good. And then the return of Los Macizos, Megan Bain was gonna be out there. Come on, like,
yeah,
I might have to escape the family and just like drive over to LA and be missing for a couple hours.
Yeah, that's why I said, unless something miraculous happens, I'm not going to these shows. I'm going to enjoy Disneyland this time instead. But these are some fun shows, especially going back to Phoenix. I'm kind of disappointed in not being able to head back there again. But it's
next time.
Next time they go, I'm definitely heading back down there. I'm excited. Like you said, like these are the names. Like LA was really strong. I really enjoy the LA card. It's all over the place, but in a good way. John's going to store for milk. Yeah, there's
what was that?
We missed the ass fetish earlier of Cole and El Schlacko, Mini El Schlacko, and Miko Schlacko, and
yeah, you got Micro biting ass. You got I don't know. Maybe there's just a rule in GCW that's missing or something. But
I'm actually kind of real glad to see the man like
going
Reese.
to the store for milk.
Man like Reese versus Beaver Band is going to be fun. I like I said, LA actually has like a pretty strong card there. That it's actually looking really good. Colorado for their first show, I think they're going to be in for a nice little treat for a GCW show. That card's stacking up pretty good. Even the talent just announced, like being able to see Zilla and all those people without any matches being announced is going to be a fun card for Colorado.
Yeah, then on to this Arizona card. This is the third show of the weekend. We have a Friday, Saturday, and then a Sunday show. So Sunday, June 16th, we have GCW's I Can't Feel My Face from the Nile Theater in Mesa, Arizona. It's just inside Phoenix. The scheduled appearances we have here up front will be GCW World Champion Mance Warner, Joey Janela, Jordan Oliver, and Bussy. Some scheduled matches here. We have our Zilla Fatu versus one called Manders. That needs to happen.
That's going to be a fun one,
dude. Once again, my brain those two don't have similar styles, and I think that's what's going to be beautiful because the one thing they do have in common is Smash Mouth. So we'll see what happens there. Man Like Doris versus Jack Cartwheel. That's going to be fantastic, and that's assuming Man Like Doris can survive Viva Van the night before. Never know, because that was one excited boy, let me tell you. Billy Starks versus Brittany Brooks. Welcome back, Billy Starks. Always nice to see her. Brittany, she is a Southwest United States local. Very nice girl, darn good talent. I really do have good hope for her. Yeah, she's a good fit for that one. Next, and very interesting, but I think it's going to be a great matchup. Nick Gage versus Fuego del Sol. Wouldn't have written that one down 2 years ago and thought it was going to happen.
I think this is going to be one of those beatdowns that ends up getting the fans behind Fuego even more. Like I feel like he's just going to take a Nick Gage ass whooping, but the fans are going to be wanting to see Fuego come back and show up again. But kind of like not an initiation, but like, hey, welcome to GCW. I'm the king of the shit. This is how we run it down here. Last time at Phoenix,
Yeah,
you got lucky
welcome.
with Stackhouse and Man Like Therese and who was the tag partner? I forgot the tag partner, but yeah, I think this is going to be
That
a
was such a good match.
different match for Fuego, and I'm interested to see Fuego step up here.
If anybody's listening out there, I'd love to see Fuego and Stackhouse team up in GCW. They did it one time, and I was front row. And let me tell you, that's a dynamite team. We had no idea until that night. They never teamed before. And
Yeah,
everybody, it was me, you, Emil, and Stackhouse on this podcast quite a few weeks ago. And when he told us that, Emil and all of us were like, no, there's no way in hell you guys haven't done this before, because they were just so fluid together. So maybe we can get Stackhouse and Fuego together on these Southwest American tours there, and let them breathe a little, because they have a good story going between the both of them there. And the last match I have, especially with the tag division the way it is right now. Our last match that was announced here, again, very interesting choice. Masha Slamovich versus Kylie Ray. What's your thoughts on that one?
That's going to be another good one for, I think, both of them. I think that's going to be a barn burner. They're both going to tear Phoenix down with that one.
Are we getting more Kylie Ray in GCW? I mean, technically we are right now, but
I hope so.
Are you thinking maybe?
She's talented.
She has a place.
She could go any up and down, heel, face, and I think she provides a lot too. And it's cool. It is nice seeing her and Danhausen wrestling a lot more in GCW, because I think they both could do a lot of fun stuff outside of what they are used to doing in other promotions.
Would you put her in a tag with him? Or if you were to put her in a tag with somebody, who would you match her with at GCW?
Kylie, I like seeing her as a single. She's good as a single competitor. Yeah, I actually think like this Danhausen and then this match against Masha is going to be two completely stylistic matches, but I think she's going to over deliver on everything. Like every time she shows up, she has great matches and just great crowd control. And I do ever since I first saw her AEW, like that was the first time I ever saw her, was like AEW Double or Nothing, and she was like, her old character was over. She looked really good in the ring and solid, and everything that she's shown since then that I've seen of her, I every time I get to see her, I'm happy, because she's impressive. She's kind of like one of those ones that we see her, then we don't see her, and see her don't. But like, I don't care at this point now. I understand wrestlers go through stuff, so anytime we do get to see that talent and the show that we cover and watch and enjoy, I'm always grateful and happy, and don't take any of those one-offs for granted anymore either.
Well, yeah, she's a great example of it, and so is Leo Rush, of people that burn bright, burn hard, and then they need time off to relax. I get it. You know, those are strong engines. And for some people, they need time to decompress and de-stress, and things like that are very difficult on people. So they have my utmost support, knowing that they have to deal with things like that, because anybody who's ever had a heartbeat and ever had to deal with life knows that depression fucking sucks. So anybody who has to deal with that, my heart is 100% with them. And yeah, we just hope. I've always said it with Leo Rush, especially, like, enjoy it while you can, because with him, it's like he goes out and he shoots for a while, he tears up the scene, and then he's gone for just a little bit. And then he goes back out, tears up the scene again, and gone. So yeah, every time I see Kylie, same thing. She tears it up and then she withdraws for a little bit to take care of herself, and deservedly so. So last time we saw her, though, this last incarnation we've seen her at GCW, she's looked fantastic.
Yeah, every time I've seen her in GCW, she's always looked like real good in ring. Like there's never any ring rust ever. Like that's the shocking part about her. Like every time we see her, it's like she just looks fluid and smooth in ring. Like no time has been taken off. And like I'm glad to see her back. And as often as we have been, I wouldn't mind seeing. Literally a match I want to see now: Megan Bayne and Kylie Ray. That's got to be booked.
That'd be an interesting booking situation too, because she's much smaller.
And I think that could show off the heel stuff that Megan Bayne that we really haven't seen in GCW.
We'll just need to take Bayne and Micro. No.
Yeah,
no, I see what you're saying though. We have a lot of promise right now at GCW in a lot of different directions. So
it's more names coming up in less than 90 days too.
Fuck yeah. That's always good and bad. You know what I mean? I always look at the list and go, okay, who's showing up with us and who do I not want showing up? You know what I mean? Who wants to come over and just get a paycheck, and who do I think wants to come over and wrestle? Yeah, it's like Nick Nemeth. You know, he came there not to get a paycheck. He came there because he wanted to wrestle and compete and have the GCW experience like the rest of us. So, okay, so let's see where we're at. It is 10:48 p.m. on the West Coast. We're looking at 1:48 a.m. on the East Coast. There are 600. Yeah, it feels like it, you said.
Yeah.
There are 600 of us in here. We are having a fantastic night. Thank you so much. This was, I believe, our TOS and COS review. Was there anything else you can think of that we haven't? We bitched a lot. We loved everything. We hated everything.
Yeah.
We cried. We laughed.
I'm excited to see what happened. Like how they did that ending was fun. It set up a bunch of possible different stories that they could do with it. Now that we have a new champion, I think we could see a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, I'm excited for what could possibly be happening in these next few weeks with Mance Warner being our champion. There's a lot of cool things that could be done.
I see where on my end, Effie creates a faction. That's, I think, the only answer for what's happening on Mance's side. We need an opposite light to the dark.
And see, this is where I could see Pero breaking away from Rich and Powerful when they go join Cardona, and Pero's kind of like, hey, Effie's kind of giving me everything and the opportunities that no one else has, and he kind of has a loyalty to Effie. And I could see him playing into the struggle of staying with the Rich and Powerful, of who now is taking control, or go back to kind of who he thinks are his real friends, and we see him join Effie. I think that would be a cool, like, now you got a monster behind Effie that could take on everyone in what's it called in Deathmatch Royalty. So there's just a lot of fun stuff that could happen.
Everything's wide open right now. It feels like the day after WrestleMania. Everything's wide open and fresh. So
this is what I thought
there's 100 ideas. Good point. There's no, it is. It's a great point, because then we wouldn't have the situation that we had with having to strip the title. That would have been handled on the spot. So that's another one we've got to figure out.
And another thing too, when we had talked about another episode, when Blake comes back, what's going to happen? How's he going to fit in? Is he going to be on the outside? Is he going to have to earn his way back? He's the first GCW champion to be stripped of a title. Is he going to have I'm just interested in what can happen when he comes back too. So that's a lot of stuff we could talk about in the future.
Well, he could claim he was never beat, and he'd be rightful to say that. He, again, if it wasn't the title stripped, I'd say his best spot would be right next to Cardona. He would have been a fantastic hand right next to Cardona, because he was built up for a year as an unstoppable force. What better thing to have at the side of a GM than somebody who's unbeatable? But at the side right now, he has Mance. So it's hard to beat something like that. Let's see. I think I've said everything I need to say, my friend. I don't want to be trying too hard to find anything. It's not worth it. Like I said, there's 600 of us sitting here in the middle of the night. Thank you so much for all the insomniacs that want to sit here and listen to our dumbasses talk for a while. You know how much we love everything. So thank you so much for listening. Is there anything else you wanted to kind of say before we?
No, same thing. Thank you, everyone in the chat again. Yeah. Chat was nice and popping. We got a big audience again tonight, and a lot of fun stuff we talked about, and a lot of cool things we could talk about in the future. And it's fun to be able to get excited for what's to come.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think COS was much better than TOS. I can look at it that way. I was really looking forward to that. And again, kudos on Effie and Mance for primarily, I would say, headlining a show that became one of the top 10 shows historically ever in GCW history. And wow, again, it's been 3 years since anything has been ranked that high on GCW programming. So if you didn't go back and look at everything, which I'm sure most of us have, please go back and check out COS. By far, you're not going to be disappointed at all. So thank you to GCW for their support. We could actually see when they retweeted our stuff, because we could see the numbers come in accordingly. Thank you to Brett. Thank you to the talent who are so supportive of what we do. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to our families who don't kill us for talking as much as we do. Luckily, they point us at each other so we can talk to each other instead of them. Yeah. Hell yeah. Love you all.
Yeah.
That's about the best way to put it.
Yes.
All right.
yes, and
So
yes.
you ready to duel this, brother? Let's do it.
Let's get him out of here. All right, here we go.
All right.
Long,
Long.
goddamn
That's pretty
delay.
Live.
Ooh,
Oh, was there a delay? Just kidding. Long live.
GCW.
Love
Night,
y'all.
Ed.
Good night, guys. Have a good one.